I am going to be on time today. Just to spite some of these people. Oh, if you need to go eat, dude, go eat and then come back. Chomp away. The question is, what type of a potato? Ah, so not the Series S kind. Okay. I knew chat was going to call me out for that one. Oh yeah. Gotta be early for something, right? Give me a second, I'll be right back. I will be on time. Sorry, now they can hear you. I'll be right back.
Oh, that's good. No. Hi, everyone. It's me. He said everyone could hear me, so I realised I was been talking about something, and then now you can hear me for realsy reals. Hi, how's everyone doing today? Oh no, not the Chille. It's okay. I'm here instead. So it's. Hey John, hey Talos, hey Steve. Hey Paul. Hey Paul, how are you doing? How's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing well. We'll be discussing a lot of the Xbox stuff today because there's been some big Xbox news. I'm good, thank you. I'm excited because only a few more, well, just a month now until the new Bleach game. So I'm excited for that.
I'm on time. Suck it. Fall off your chairs.
You're actually early.
Fall off your chairs and do what you need to do. It's not a hoax. It's not a prank. I made it.
We're starting off with someone burning the Xbox already before we even start.
Wait, who's burning an Xbox?
Not literally. Andrew Wilkins. Can the new Xbox finally get one good game from Micro Success? I mean, they call them Micro Success, which will help. I'm releasing all disappointment since 2011.
I don't know. I've heard it's a good game.
Are you on Chaos Red Bulls today? No, I'm not on Red Bulls.
Red Bulls? Oh. Oh, yeah, Paul. Definitely, I'm on a one energy drinker stream. I need to buy one of, look into something a little more healthier. But I definitely am. See? See? Go on, chat. Get Diablo. Go on. Go on. Get Diablo. He's late. Sup, John? Sup, Talos? Gaming? Stevie? Nah, green tea don't work for me, man. Green tea does not work for me. Honestly, coffee doesn't work for me either. I can drink, like, literally the strongest coffee ever. And Turkish coffee is really, really strong. Does nothing to me.
By the way, talking about horrible drinks, my mate has decided to buy me one of the worst looking milkshakes I've ever seen in my life, so I could try it. So yeah, yeah.
That doesn't, I've
Not
got
looking forward to
all
it.
these horrible images in my head that now I can't unsee. But it makes me feel a little better that I'm not going to be drinking them and you are.
Do you remember Flumps?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's made a milkshake version of that.
Oh, good luck, man.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck. I mean,
It's in powder form as well.
Someone in chat made me try an Oreo Coke. It's as vile as it sounds.
I think we actually rated it quite high.
No, that's horrible. Horrible.
I say high. I think Gladys, who had it in America, gave it a C. The horrible drink is Tetley because everyone knows you drink Yorkshire tea. Is it weird that I can't really tell the difference between a lot of the different brands of tea nowadays? Like, Tetley did have a different flavour, but I swear Yorkshire tea and Tetley don't really taste much different now.
Andrew, I've played Avowed for about, 4 hours now? I haven't encountered one bug. One bit of jank, no nothing. Bear in mind, unlike the reviews out there and the previews that had no access to the day one patch, which fixes a lot of stuff, I'm guessing. And even on PC, where there is supposed to be this infinite stutter that people talked about. Yesterday on my stream, it was perfect. At least on my end. I had no problems at all. No stutters, no jank, no nothing. I did find that the NPCs respawning took the piss though. They ganked me good.
Andrew, I didn't play the full game, but I actually enjoyed the demo of Forspoken. So I wouldn't call it one of the best games ever, but it was definitely not as bad as people seem to think it was.
Forspoken's a good game. I recommend people play it.
Yeah. I'm
sad that we're not going to get a sequel. I very much enjoyed Forspoken. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 at the time.
Yeah, I think that's about what it deserves.
I would have given it an 8 if the final boss wasn't so bad. The final boss is so bad. It's so awful. The way it's designed, the final boss is pretty much a snooze fest. You can barely block any of the abilities and moves that it does. It's just horrible. The final boss is the reason why I knocked off half a point.
That's fair.
Because you know the game builds up to that point, and you're expecting a big send off, and I ended up getting more frustrated in that one boss than I did in the whole game.
I think it's a fair review.
And Devin, remember what you said, yeah? If I'm late today, there's no memberships, but if I'm on time, you're going to gift 50 memberships. He didn't really say that, but I'm going to hold him to it.
Well, you know what? How about this?
No. But all seriousness, I enjoyed Forspoken. I might be the only person that enjoyed Forspoken and out there, but I did enjoy Forspoken. It was a good game. A game doesn't need to be a 9 and a 10 to be a good game. And I don't understand why it needs to be a 9 and a 10 to be a good game.
There you go. I'll gift a membership.
Well, thank you, Chille. Which,
if I wasn't broke this month, I would have probably gifted more.
It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow. And so she was like, Dad, can we go and book this place out? I said, all right. It's like something called Gravity where you go and climb stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
I said, cool. And she goes, I'm only going to bring a couple of my friends. Is it okay if we pay for them? I said, yeah, whatever. It's only a couple of friends. Yeah. I'll pay for their food and everything. And then I got a list of, I've agreed to it, right? I agreed to it without looking at the list. You never do that, chat. You never, ever do that. That is a mistake.
No, don't do that. Especially not agreeing to pay for the food. Even if there's like 5 people, there could be one person like me that just eats a ton.
That's fine. right? But he don't do that. Ended up being quite a battalion of her friends. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting tomorrow. But I hope they have a good time. We start at like 7 o'clock tomorrow, and then finish around 9. Getting out's gonna be interesting because the place actually closes all the doors at 9 as well. It's a shopping center, so it's blue water. Hey, CBH. Yeah, no, I like Avowed. Avowed is a good game. It's not a 10 out of 10 game by any means. I'd probably say, at the moment, based on my gameplay, it's not 9 out of 10. Yesterday, when I said, from what I've seen, about an 8.5, I still stick around there. But an 8.5 is a good game. It doesn't deserve the hate it's getting. It could improve. I'm only 4 hours in.
I don't know why. Anytime I talk about bad games, I think I told you this before. For some reason, my brain always goes back to this. Do you remember the Deadpool game?
Oh, yes. The one that Notorious at Activision said they had to get at a certain score, like 70 or something.
They had to get up. They had to get less than 70. Less, not more.
Yeah.
They had to get less than 70. If they got more than 70, they didn't get their bonus. They had to get more than 40, but less than 70.
Yeah, that's probably the get out clause from Marvel. That's pretty much what it has to be. There's nothing else it can be. That has to be the reason. Right? That has to be the reason. I can't think of anything else. I've seen combat Woodpit as people have gotten to like 30 hours of gameplay and whatnot, and it looks really good. I love the way that you can manipulate the world as well. Like if you can put like an ice force field around you and just cross vast, spaces of the ocean by just freezing the platform and going across. You don't have to go around. You can just YOLO shortcut across. Stuff like that is really, really cool. Have I seen people comparing it to Oblivion? Yeah, those comparisons are pointless. Absolutely pointless. One is done on the Creation Engine, the other one's done in Unreal Engine 5.
I'll be honest, I think that's one review that I didn't even go past the title. I can't remember which one it was, but there was like, the game is good, but it's developed so that you can wait for Elder Scrolls. And I'm like, well, you put me off the game already. Don't compare it to another franchise. It needs to just keep it its own. It's its own thing.
Yeah, they're different engines. You don't compare different engines. There's no point. Now, if they were both built in Creation Engine, then sure. Then you'll say, right, there's clearly a difference here, but Unreal Engine 5 is still just new to people.
DCG hated Avowed because it's not on PlayStation 5 yet, according to him. You know what? Sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Alright. For a guy called Dreamcast Gamer, I don't really see much coverage about Dreamcast.
He originally started as a Dreamcast.
Just when I said that.
Yeah, he originally started as a Dreamcast channel. And then when Dreamcast started getting beaten up by Sony, and, Sony started blackmailing developers, especially now that I found that out is true, he switched over to PlayStation.
I don't know. I think, like... Then rename yourself. Just feels weird.
What reason is that, Bags? Only 2 reasons it could be.
Yeah, I don't think it's just the engine. I think it's just stupid. Dreamcast made him what he is. The problem is I've never heard of him before recently. So.
Oh, I heard of him from the Dreamcast days. He was a bit crazy, which is why I didn't watch him. Like I'm talking off your head crazy.
I mean, wasn't that basically the standard in YouTube back then, though?
No, this was like I'm talking. He was high off his head, crazy. Like those things those clips that you saw that recently went around with him wrapping the controllers around his neck as if he was going to hang himself.
Well, not seen that.
That was tame to the stuff that he was doing, because he just wasn't. He just wasn't mentally all there. But because he was being stupid and crazy, he was entertaining people.
Yeah, but as I said, edgy and stuff like that was a big thing back in 2010s, like 2000s to 2010s was kind of.
It was.
So. Hey, Digital Devil Sin.
That's another thing.
Nice to hear you enjoying it.
That's another thing. Bags. There were when Starfield released, those same things that they're now praising were the worst thing ever to be created by man. When Starfield came out, which is basically the same physics that are there in Skyrim. It's the same engine. But this is why this whole thing where if Microsoft releases a game, you know 100% that the majority of the PlayStation fans are just going to hate it for the sake of hating it. But then it's the same vice versa if a PlayStation game comes out. And as long as one does it to the other one is going to do it to the other. And it will never end. Look at it. On IGN right now, I wasn't quick enough at the time because I wasn't aware it was going on. Someone created my tag and is basically downvoting every Xbox game on my username, and I've contacted IGN about this and they won't do anything about it. There's a lot of sad people out there.
That's pretty bad.
But yeah, so if you go to IGN and search the Chaos Lounge, you'll just see zeros on Xbox games.
Wow.
I like Starfield. Though I go through phases playing Starfield. Because I know if I start sitting down and playing it, I'm not going to get off it for a few weeks. So I usually play it in chunks.
I mean, isn't that basically what that company is good for, doing games like that?
Yeah. No, this is supposed to be playing. But Chille, how have you been? It's been a week since we've had you on the show. What have you been playing? Outside of 14.
I've been playing Dragon Quest.
Ooh,
I've been getting into Dragon Quest 3.
Oh, 3?
2 HD remake. You know the remake.
Yeah.
I played a bit of Monster Hunter. And I played a tiny bit of Elden Ring because I didn't get much time to play it because I had a busy weekend.
The playtimes were so weird. Like 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.? Really?
No, I don't think there was a 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. There were still some ridiculous ones, though.
Mine were all in those times. I got a thing coming up. It was 6
Mine
a.m.
was 11 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Oh, you're lucky.
I
had a couple of 7 to 10.
And then I don't think I had anything like that. 1 second. I'm going to go check my email. 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. for once.
I had 2 of those.
11 a.m. I had one of those. I had 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. And then I had 3 a.m. till 6 a.m.
Hey, Devin. Only 49 to go. Thank you for the gifted sub.
But Friday I was out. Saturday I was out going to see Captain America. So, like, I really didn't have the time. I played a little bit. But the issue is I played a little bit, but I obviously joined a group of people that had played it before. Mm-hmm. So I jumped in and 2 people just ran off.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
I had no idea where they were going, though. They just ran into directions.
Yeah.
So.
Chicken Eye and Byron McBride were gifted subs. Just for what I don't know. So the way it actually works, it's basically like, it's a combination between a roguelike game, a Monster Hunter game, and taken elements of a Battle Royale game. So when you land in a circle, and that circle shrinks. Once it gets to its minimal shrinking point, that's your final arena to fight the main boss of the area. If you win the boss of the area, it expands again and you continue going. When you succeed and leave or die and leave, you keep the kind of rewards that you've got, you lose everything else, you go back and you apply those buffs to your character. When you go into the actual gaming arena, you go around and kill enemies to level yourself up. You can level down as well if you die a lot, but you level yourself up and get yourself stronger. And by doing that, you get a better chance to fight the boss.
I didn't get much time.
Yeah, so that's how it works. But that's why people run off all over the place. They basically just go and start killing stuff to get XP to level up. Because as your level 1 form, you're not going to do anything to that boss. He'll look at you, and even before the hit registers hitting you, you're going to die.
I also picked a caster by accident. I was trying to look at the characters, and by the time I finished looking at the characters, it was already over. So I just default picked what was on.
Yeah, there's 4 characters.
Who says Mars, Toffee, or Twix? I can't eat any of those nowadays, which sucks.
Twix. If I'm given the option, always a Twix. You don't get to see it enough today.
They have nut warnings on now, so.
So, did you hear about the First Descendant?
No. At least not recently.
So, it seems that the First Descendant isn't performing very well. Apparently, their push to have hot tubs and naked women, 99% naked, isn't enough to make a game that's not got enough content successful.
Yeah, I saw people comparing it to, look, Dead or Alive is back.
No, this is basically soft porn at this point. They went way beyond Dead or Alive. Steve, lion bars were awesome. Are they even around?
It depends on the Dead or Alive we're talking about.
No. Have you seen? I don't want to show. If I show it on stream, I'll probably get.
It's what I've seen. There has definitely been some Dead or Alive games that have been very close to that.
If you're talking about Extreme Beach Volleyball, that's different. That's literally designed for that. But I'm talking.
That is what I'm talking about.
All right, Extreme Beach Volleyball is different.
When I say Dead or Alive, I mean the franchise, not just the fighting game.
I'm talking about the fighting games. You know, if you're not going to be dressed up as a nun going to a beach.
Look, I don't judge. Like, I remember. I'll still never forget the first time I went to Wisconsin. Yeah, my first time ever flying to America on my own, and being sat next to a priest on the first flight, and then getting an exchange, and then being sat next to a nun. Look, anything is possible. Trust me, I was scared the entire flight.
It was probably Lorena. Paul wants a line bar. Steve, what have you done?
See, Paul, I can't eat lion bars because of nut allergy. So you eat all them all.
But yeah, so they started off as a game that had a little bit of sex appeal.
Yeah,
but it focused on its. It did. Bunny, especially her ultimate suit, was insane. But it was bordering on acceptable. But it was okay. But it had the gameplay at the beginning to back it up. Somewhere along the line, they've realized that, through the influence, I don't know if it's just through all of the people that were just, goonering over it, or maybe they saw what, the G guy was saying. I'm not even going to say his name because he's an idiot and I don't want to give him any credit at all. But, they decided that going down the route of putting all the characters in the scampiest bikini was going to be... And, they were actually showing clips of them dancing just by looking at their butt cheeks. They knew what they were doing. and they were trying to sell it on just sex. And then they completely forgot about the gameplay. Like, the gameplay just went out the window. They didn't care. Dungeons and raids, forget about all that. Just put down £100 skins in the game that make them look scantily clad and attractive, and people will buy it. And for a little while it worked, until people realized, I'm buying all these skins, but there's no game. And then it started to fall off.
Well, that's not good. Yeah. It's a shame, because I was tempted to get into this game originally.
Me too.
Like, I put a lot of money into Warframe back in the day, and this gave me some Warframe vibes.
I started playing this.
I mean, a lot of money. Like, I still remember dropping £300 on the first Prime pack when it came out.
No. I can't do that. I can spend it over time, but not in one go. Not that I can't do it. It's just like, I can't do it.
I don't know why I did it, because I was still so angry because of what they did. I don't know if you ever know what Warframe did with the Prime pack, in a way.
No, John. It's called a cult.
There was a character called Excalibur Prime added as a early access for Warframe, right? And they said that the early access Warframe will never be added to the game ever again. But the early access ended 1 week before the PlayStation release, so the PlayStation players could never get a chance to actually get the Excalibur, and that really frustrated me. Like, just why? Please, why didn't you give us a chance?
You ain't special enough.
No.
So you could have bought it on PC and then waited for the crossplay and then done it.
Yeah, in 10 years, or whatever it was.
Hey, look, there's still a chance.
I mean, back in the day, crossplay really wasn't that much of a thing. So.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, it's a shame what's happened to the First Descendant. They definitely... I mean, I was playing it with Steve in chat and Taz, and I couldn't even finish the main campaign. I just got so bored of it. It just... the content loop wasn't interesting enough for me. It just felt very bland. I know a lot of people liked it at the beginning, and that's fine. But I could see where they were going with it. And once they started introducing all of these skins, and I saw how people were going mentally insane about the skins, and then they started focusing only on the skins and no gameplay. It was all downhill. It was never too hard for me.
I wasn't a big fan of BioShock or Atomic Heart. Well, no, I should say I never played Atomic Heart, but I wasn't a big fan of BioShock.
I like BioShock. I mean, Bags, when you...
I don't know, something about the game always put me off it. I don't know what it is. The idea sounds good, but every time I've tried to play it, I just get put off. I don't know why.
You don't like horror games, though.
It's just one of those games.
You don't like horror games?
Yeah, well, I don't. You're right.
And it's a
horror game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that might be a reason.
I'll be honest, I had no idea it was a horror game.
I mean, it borders on the horror side of things, but it's really
there's
creepy.
Some horror games I did like, but
it's really creepy, and it's supposed to be unsettling. You're kind of left on your own devices in this place, underwater, and you're trapped with whatever's down there. You don't know what's around every corner. That is not your sort of game.
No. Yeah, but then there's some horror games I enjoy, but then the horror games that I enjoy are the games that have pissed everyone off. So, I can't really say much. Like, I think everyone's gonna get really angry that I'm gonna say this. I like Dead Space 2.
What's wrong with Dead Space 2?
Was it 2 that added co-op? Not Dead Space 2. I mean, like, what one was it? Was it Dead Space? The one that added co-op.
Yes, you can hear me. I can see the mic moving.
Was it 3 or 2? But I liked it because I liked what they did with the horror. Like, everyone disliked it because it was online co-op.
Dead Space.
But I like what they did with the horror with it. Like, I liked it because I don't know if you remember. Did you ever play in co-op?
No, I never really got into the Dead
Okay.
Space games.
Why I liked it was the fact that, like, we didn't know that. Yeah, we didn't know that the internet wasn't really that much big of a thing back then. We didn't really check. Like, there was one bit where we were taking the elevator, and I'm like, "Mate, do you see all those weird birthday things?" And he's like, "No." For him, it was completely empty. The whole way and the elevator were empty, but on my screen there was like a weird children's birthday party going on in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like, there was stuff that I could see that he couldn't see, and stuff that he could see that I couldn't see, and that's why I liked it. But it was like, it was like my character was hallucinating at the time. So, and I thought it was a cool way to do it. Steve says you're quiet compared to.
I shouldn't be.
I'm sorry. Mute me, then I'm the loudest.
Are you sure? I mean, I'm peaking at red.
What Steve says.
I don't know. I'm peaking at red. If I literally go any higher, I'm going to be full red. It's going to start distorting.
Hey, Fantas.
Is that better?
Says his favorite game was on sound. I mean, I can move my mic away.
No. I'm adjusting you. But is that better? It's a Steve issue? I thought so.
Okay. I mean, I can talk quieter like this.
Oh no, I've adjusted you. They should be hearing you a little quieter now. You was also peaking at red, just slightly above me. But I've got noise suppression on, so it's trying to keep it... It always tries to keep it below red. So it's fighting unless I really raise my voice, and then it'll peak into the red.
Steve says check Discord.
But Bags, what you said, it's almost as if, gameplay and content in a game is the most important. It is. But the community out there are only going to turn around and tell you, no, that's not important. What's important is having hot chicks in there. Like I saw, I think it was on Tuesday, one person on X turned around and told me that he's not playing Avowed because all the characters are trans. And so I asked him, how do you know? And he goes, well, that's what was posted. And I said, well, that's clearly not the case. And he goes, well, now that I know, I can't unknow. So I'm not going to play it. And I said, cool. Just so you know, every game that you're playing right now that's coming out in the next 30 years or 40 years, internally, every single one of those are trans. And he goes, how do you know? I said, does it matter? Now that you know, you can't unknow. So I guess you might as well find a new hobby. And then he blocked me.
I mean, technically, there's like... I'm not going to go too much into it, but like...
I got him.
Aren't most characters that technically because you can decide which gender you want to play as?
I got him, man. I got him. I got him good. I mean, he did retort back before he blocked me saying he'll play racing games, and I said, yeah, but those also have, trans in the game, transmissions. You can't... and, they literally have a stick that you can grab and get a firm grip on. And then he blocked me.
Dablo says, if hot chicks are more important, why am I playing Iron Banner? You're playing
just some random dude that I outsmarted on X. He didn't like it that I ruined gaming for him. I had to be creative on the spot. He annoyed me.
Did you see the game? I've seen it, but I haven't watched the footage. I'll look after the stream properly.
Every racing game.
I did see the Discord though.
But Leaf, what did Amazon say about Steam?
By the way, talking about Amazon, what about Twitch? Did you hear about the bad news for Twitch last night?
The 100 meg?
Well, the 100 hours.
100 hours, yeah. For VODs.
100 meg, that's even worse.
the VODs, right? I mean, it depends on the compression, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can only have 100 hours of highlights.
Yeah, the gear stick.
Not kidding, you're now real quiet. Man.
No, I'm not quiet. I know what happened there. But yeah. I thought the story was really stupid. Oh, Chille's really quiet. Okay, Chille should be fine now.
Hi.
Guys, just
there was an ex-Amazon employee or director saying that they want to get rid of Steam. Good luck. Maybe they should join forces with Epic Games.
Steam ain't going anywhere. Everyone knows that.
No.
Steam is gonna pretty much outlive everyone. But you know, it's yeah, I still find the PC players weird. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it because
PC players, we like more platforms to choose from, but then they're like, but also if you don't release on Steam, we won't buy.
Yeah, it's like I don't get that at all. I don't like people can come at me with whatever they want. It's never gonna make sense to me. It's just never going to make sense to me that a 2 megabyte download is going to blow your mind and make you not play a game. So I do kind of understand why a lot of companies are against Steam, because Steam is slowly, without doing anything, creating a monopoly. It'll be interesting to see if any of the regulators step in to dismantle it at some point. The one thing I've noticed with Steam, though, that I haven't noticed with the Xbox app, or the Epic app, by the way. I don't really know about the Ubisoft app. But definitely not with the Epic one, because I've run games on that I have on all three of them. And for some reason, the Steam one runs worse than the other two. Whatever Steam has going on in the background actually makes the game run worse. You lose frames, and I don't understand why. I looked online and other people have been reporting the same thing. It seems to be a lot of just bloat that's there on Steam that loses you frames. But I don't know why. Like I can't see what's there on running in Steam that's actually doing it. Has anyone actually experienced anything like that? I've run a couple. The only game I think I've run on Battle.net is Diablo 4. And maybe COD, but definitely Diablo 4.
By the way, I just read an article just now, literally, that makes Sony look really bad. I actually didn't know this was a thing.
What's that?
FromSoftware published Dark Souls by a different company because they were annoyed by how Sony treated them with Demon Souls. Supposedly, Shuhei Yoshida said that the game was unbelievably bad, and that's why it wasn't published outside of Japan from Sony. And it got published by other companies because he didn't think it would do well.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But they also refused to work with Sony, didn't they? According to Shuhei Yoshida.
Yeah.
Like entirely, they just said, nope, not going to happen.
Yeah, so yeah. Suppose that's also why we got Bloodborne, because he felt bad for how he treated Demon Souls and Dark Souls. So he immediately greenlit Bloodborne.
Steam is consistently 10-15 FPS slower in games in comparison. Maybe. I don't know exactly the number, but I haven't done enough testing. but I did notice it.
Why says I wonder if Chille likes Avowed. A, my laptop probably won't run it, and B, I don't have an Xbox. But from what I can see, it looks like a good game. It's not a game that I want, but it looks like a good game. I would probably settle with Chaos' Scruff with an 8 point something. It's not a game for me though, and Xbox can keep it if they want to. I'm not going to complain. No worries. You can play it via xCloud. You do understand how bad my internet is, Steve. Paul says, just get an Xbox. I want to get a new PC before I get an Xbox. Everyone okay, Chaos?
Yeah. So someone just sent me something and I was reading it and it's not making any sense, but they want me to answer them, and obviously I'm not going to do that right now.
By the way, I just want to clear something up that I saw Chaos point me to someone that I used to respect a little bit. Well, used to respect a lot, but recently has lost my respect. Just because a game is on Game Pass doesn't make it bad. And Game Pass is a great service for a lot of people that may not be able to afford purchasing new games constantly. So I'm not going to mention who we're talking about. Chaos knows who I'm talking about. But I'm just saying that if you have to play games through Game Pass, please don't feel bad for it.
Arthur's calling you out, man. I don't think you should. I don't think you should stand for it.
Don't want that Game Pass fodder. Look, I have PlayStation Plus Premium. I already have my fodder. Hell, I have my Switch Online. I've not even turned my Switch on for a year, but I still pay for it for some reason because I keep forgetting to cancel it. But then I don't cancel it because I realize it's like the sandwich per month max.
Yeah, I got stung by that. I got stung bad. And it wasn't even... I even cancelled my subscription from Sony for the premium. I just went down to extras. And they still pulled the premium because PayPal didn't cancel it. I didn't cancel it from PayPal. So when Sony requested it, even though I just completely cancelled, like non-recurring, when the time came, PayPal still paid them when the request came in.
Oh, wow.
And Sony said, no refunds. We've got your money now, piss off.
That sucks. Paul says, Chille, would you consider getting an Xbox handheld? No. I don't go out enough.
Handhelds are designed to be used at home.
At what location am I going to be using my Xbox handheld?
Look, I'm seeing a ton of PlayStation fans sitting in front of a 70-inch TV and then showing off that they're using their Portable and playing games. This seems to be a common trend with PlayStation fans and handhelds.
Okay, on the box. No, Steve, that's when you play gacha games, because we all know that if you're playing gacha games and you summon on the toilet, you get bonus luck. That's how it works.
You do?
Yeah.
I'm still not going to try it, but that explains my shit luck. Pun intended.
Yeah, I decided to buy the last banner. I decided to buy the tickets. They were like £5, right? You get 5 units. 5 units. I hadn't put in like 150 multis. I didn't pull a single good thing that I wanted. I decided to pay the £5, and when I was on the toilet, and I pulled it in that 5 characters. So yeah, toilet luck is always good. Would recommend summoning on toilets, but don't abuse it. If you abuse it, then it doesn't work. I cancelled PlayStation Plus, kept Game Pass. I think Sony's third title. Yeah, premium is not worth it. I don't know why I haven't cancelled it yet. If you have Paul, I don't have a Paul, Arthur.
On the box.
But no, I'm going to go back to the 70-inch TV thing. Is it a family?
Honestly, I can't. The ones that are posting it, I can't imagine them having a family.
Because I'm just saying,
and I'm not being nasty by saying that. With that level of IQ, I just can't. I can't imagine it.
But if you've got a family, I can understand if the kids are watching TV or the wife is watching TV.
No, I
and if
get
you want to play
that.
your PlayStation, then I understand having the Portal on your.
But they're just sitting down with their feet up, the TV's on, and they're like,
Maybe they secretly need glasses, and that's why they're using the Portal, because they need to see the screen closer to their face.
hey, you see, Arthur? It's like a drug.
Thank you for getting me hooked again on Game Pass. I'll stop subbing until Chaos hooked. Game Pass is good. I can't say it's bad.
Glad you're back to gaming though, dude.
Paul says I got given a PS Portal by my door on my birthday. It's bloody awful. Hey, but still, happy late birthday if it was recently.
I still want one just to try it out. I'm just not willing to pay the price they're asking for it.
I want one eventually.
I found it for 100. Go on.
It's a little more worth it now for me because of the cloud gaming. I think that's more useful, but when it was just remote play, I still feel like that was a scam.
I don't know. I found it for £140 and I still felt it was too expensive.
I feel like I think 100 to 120 is the perfect price point.
I think £100 I'll pull the trigger.
120 it should come with a month of plus.
Yeah, I think £100 I'll pull the trigger. Anything more than that, and I can't justify it.
I said 120 is the max I think it's worth, and then if it's 120, it should come with PlayStation Plus. You get a month of PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, I don't know, I just can't justify the cost.
No. I said I don't really go out much, so that's why I can't justify it.
Oh, I have a Steam Deck bags, and I generally use that anyway. I just wanted it merely to try out. I like playing with new gadgets, new tech, so that's really all it is. It's not that I need one, hence why I'm not willing to pay more than $100 for it. It's more just I just like messing around with new tech. Even if it is the case where I'm going to use it for like, I don't know, a few hours and just leave it there on the side and never touch it again.
You don't go much why I have shoes. You know what's smart? I wear slippers most of the time when I'm indoors, and yeah. And I did push my last pair of shoes so long that they had holes in them. So... prawn cracker? Sure. I'm confused by that, but okay.
Prawn cracker?
Yeah, that's random. If you got I haven't had Chinese in years.
Devil, like I said, I just like playing with new tech. That's it. I like trying out new tech, seeing what it's like. That is literally the only reason. But this is interesting, right? The Epic mobile store is now available on macOS, Android, iPhone EU only, and iPad EU only. They still haven't won the ruling to get it pushed over in the US, or the East, I guess, but EU has basically told Android and Apple they can have their store on there whether you like it or not. This is good for Microsoft. This now means that
means that they've got more. Yeah.
Well, now they can release their store. Microsoft couldn't release their store until this ruling, until they were allowed to do it. Now they can do it. It's not globally done yet, but at least now Microsoft can actually start pushing that on mobile phones.
Ooh, get a free copy of Star Wars. Maybe I'm actually going to do it.
Yeah, free way. Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Republic 2, The Sith Lords, for free on the Epic Games Store mobile app. Offer ends March 20th, 2025. I swear they've given these games away for free so long. I'm surprised people still don't have it.
Ooh.
You could always go Fortnite.
And of course, the Fortnites. Hey, I enjoy Fortnite, okay? I bought all the Dragon Ball skins in Fortnite because
of course you did. Of course you did.
Did you play Fortnite? No, but I bought them.
The KOTOR remake, I think they just fell out with Sony. And it got abandoned.
Supposedly. Still being made, right? From what we've heard.
Yeah, just not with Sony anymore. They parted ways.
No, I think it's still involved with Sony, right?
I heard they parted ways.
But I'm gonna guess from how long it's taken them to make it, there's probably 2 people.
Look, I reckon Everwild has more chance of coming out first than that game.
Yeah, it's still Sony, Steve says. It is still Sony involved. Xbox needs to remake KOTOR collection. It would be massive. It's licensing. They can't, right?
What's that? Xbox needs to remake KOTOR collection? Yeah, that's the thing. Licensing.
That's all down to licensing.
Pretty much.
Kong or Gollum.
What?
There's more chance. Seth. Man, we need to go back to see more Kong gameplay.
You really don't. I assure you, you really, really do not need to see more of that. I guarantee you, you do not need to see more of that. You don't. You absolutely don't.
Chat, if we can get to...
Phantom Archer. So there's been a little bit of news, but not directly involved with Microsoft. So the FTC hasn't really said anything regarding the trial and the Ninth District Court. My assumption is that it's basically just going to get thrown out now that the new administration is in and the Lena Khan's team has been John Cena out of the building. But what's interesting is now Sarah Cardell from the CMA coming out and saying that if a merger like the ABK and Microsoft merger appears again, they won't be the same as they were with that one, and be a lot more lenient with it. And
well, yeah, because they've shown that they're putting stuff onto third party. They've shown that. So
nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. So you know the whole CMA and FTC are supposed to be independent, right? Clearly they're not, because the head of the CMA, he got drop kicked out of the full floor with the window closed, and in came in someone ex CEO from Amazon, I think, or ex COO from Amazon, whoever he is. He's come in and he's pro merger, and he's basically said, right, this ain't happening no more. Not under my watch. So clearly now they've put someone else in place that is pro-merger, because a lot of companies now, because of the way these regulators are, have been basically leaving the UK, like one by one, because they can't do anything. The UK has lost a lot of ground. But it's interesting how Sarah Cardell turns around and says, you know, that they will look at it differently going forward. The reality is, she had zero ground in the first place. And the fact that in her closing statement, she's turned around and wrote in the final report, we were the only regulator in the world to get Microsoft to bend the knee and concede to concessions. That tells you everything you need to know about that decision. And why Microsoft, pretty much after that point, really just pulled back from the UK. And they have. There's no denying it. They were already cutting budgets and stuff in the UK, but after that point, they really abandoned the UK. even though they're not fully out, their investment in the UK is virtually zero. They're just not around at all. And
sucks for both the UK economy and the fact that it used to be one of Microsoft's biggest.
yeah, the question is that to Sarah Cardell, was it worth it to be so pig-headed? But the only reason she actually did it was so she could basically prove a point. Now that the UK was independent and out of Europe, as it were, with Brexit, they were independent. This was like their first big trial, so they wanted to be as pig-headed and stubborn as they possibly could, and it backfired. And now she's been given her marching orders. You either fall in line and let these go through, or be way more lenient, or you can be John Cena like Lena Khan. She likes money, so she agreed to be a bit more lenient. It's not like the system in the US where one administration replaces the other. So yeah, that's basically where we're at right now, which basically tells me when Microsoft goes and buys another publisher this year, which they will, to bolster up their cloud war chest, it's going to go through a hell of a lot more smoothly. Wait, what am I getting all my colors? There's a Golem too? It's alright, I only have like 30 followers, so at 50 pence a pop for the game, it shouldn't set me back that much. But yeah, this Epic thing should be interesting. It should open up a lot of doors for Microsoft now. We should be hearing more about their mobile endeavors, unless they've chosen to abandon it.
Yeah, which they might have. Which it'd be a bit weird if they have.
What?
Abandoned mobile.
No, they haven't abandoned mobile. Mobile and cloud, I think, is their main focus still. But there's a lot of work to be done in the back end.
Paul, I think there are some game shops that still exist, right?
There is,
I think
yeah.
Game itself still. They're normally in Sports Direct though, which is weird.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Even Toys R Us are in places like that now.
Well, Toys R Us here is in W.H. Smith's.
Yeah. But they're gone as well.
Yeah.
W.H. Smith has announced they're closing all 241 stores. Or 300 stores.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, my town's got even more dead than it already is.
They're moving to airports only after Rachel Reeves' new policy for businesses with the national insurance. They're closing all the stores.
Wow.
And they've already started closing them. CEX basically means computer exchange. That was where I went and I saw...
Thank you for using that name for it, because I hate the official name.
Wait, you don't like computer exchange?
No, how the adverts say CEX.
Yeah. But
thank you. Thank you for using the PC name. That's the correct way of saying it.
But yeah, so like I remember when Spider-Man 2 came out, they had like 50 copies on the first weekend, secondhand. It's crazy. And Game was opposite them, selling it for £70. And they were selling it. I mean, how bad is the condition of that game going to be if it's only been out for 4 days or 3 days? People literally bought it day one, completed it, and went and traded it in, so they got a maximum return.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't some of the staff taking a few of the copies and then trading them in.
Yeah, it was like £55 for a second, or £55 or £60 for a second-hand game.
Yeah.
It's still £10 less than retail, and it was brand new. The codes weren't even used in some of them.
Yeah. as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the staff weren't just taking copies that will excess a game and trade them in to CEX to get some money back. Oh.
Just type in cex.co.uk and you'll find it.
I actually got my first Elgato from a CEX actually. I saw one. My original Elgato I saw for 40 quid.
Now, serious. Let's not do that. Bad. Serious. Bad. But hey, good news. The new Indiana Jones update is now live. It's actually live. It's got DLSS 4 support with the 50 series. It's interesting why they skipped the 4090, right? Come on, why are you skipping the 4090? You got the 5090, 5080, 4070 Ti, 4070. But why not the 4090, which is pretty much going to be like here?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
I'd argue it'd be a bit higher than that, probably.
It's just like, come on. This is ray reconstruction off, and that is on. It looks
I don't see much difference.
You can. It's the lighting.
Maybe it's just the stream.
It's the lighting. Look at the hallway.
That could just be a different type of the dame, though. Like.
No, they've basically got the two images at exactly the same point, and it's in a building anyway. This area is always during the day, unless you're right at the beginning of the game. But you can see the sunlight in both.
Yeah. I don't, but like I don't see it. Like I'm just saying, I don't see a huge difference. In my opinion, there's not a huge.
Oh no, it's all just the shadows and the light reflections. That's all it is. If that stuff matters to you. You've got ray traced local lights. Players with path tracing enabled now have the option to use fully ray traced shadows. Path tracing support for AMD and Intel graphics cards. This update brings path tracing, full ray tracing, to support AMD and Intel. FSR 3.1, including FrameGen, is now there. And Intel XeSS 1.4 support. Bug fixes. Let's see. Fixed issue preventing some players from reaching 100% completion. That is me, because that NPC won't give me the damn thing. I mean, it shows 100%, and I got the achievement, because there are ways you can basically go and fool the system to do it, which is what I did in the end. But only one area has 99%, because I'm missing one collectible, because I did that game 100%. Fixed issues where players would be unable to use ladders? I've never seen that in Sukutohei. I went everywhere in that game. Never once. Particularly during the Blessed Pearl mission. Man, I'm happy I didn't experience that. Fixed issues with certain missions and quests, including several fixes to inward markers. Okay, that one's a problem. The inward markers is a problem for collectibles. It shows you that there's a collectible there, but there isn't, because you've collected it already. Or collected it somewhere else. Various stability and graphical fixes didn't have a single graphical issue. It was flawless for me. Audio fixes didn't have any to begin with. Quality of life update. Repair kits can now also be used by selecting them directly. Oh, that's cool. That's a good update.
Oh, everyone in chat is saying that you cheated.
I cheated what?
Woodpit says that's cheating. Seth says you just said you cheated when you said you beat it without completing 100%.
What do you mean?
I think. Because you said you beat it without, you got 100% without doing 100%.
Well, the NPC wouldn't give it to me. So Bethesda said if you go to this spot and take a picture here, it'll give you the achievement. Bethesda told me to do it. It's not my fault Bethesda's telling me to do it. That was Bethesda's fix. forgot what the guy's name was. It's not that one. Oh, really? Gina would just would not leave. Okay. Man, some people have had a lot of issues.
I mean, it's a big game, so of course there's going to be some issues.
But I'm not seeing the bug that I found in here, which is... Well, fixing issues... Why would you change the puzzle difficulty? They weren't that hard. Oh God, if they're that hard, that's always Google, right? But yeah, I'm not seeing the bug that I experienced, so maybe they haven't fixed that one. I hope they have. Yeah, I'm not seeing the one I think, so I'll have to boot it up on the cloud and see if he's thing. If they fixed it, I'll just go speak to him, and if he's fixed it, great. If not, oh well. Fixing issue preventing collecting the Friday field note in Secretary High. Ah, there it is. And the Ostrachan sharding Giza after restarting checkpoints. That's the one I didn't get. He wouldn't give it to me. The guy just stood there like this with the thing in his hand. I tried everything. Shooting him. You can't shoot NPCs in that game, sadly. But I tried everything. He wouldn't give it to me. That's the shard. Because basically what some people do, like I did, they pick up the quest, and you have to go collect, I think it's like 6 Sealies. So I just went and collected 6 Sealies, and then went and spoke to him, and then went back to the NPC. But what you're supposed to do is collect like 1 or 2, go see him, he then gives you the shard, then you go collect the rest, and then go back to the guy. But if you collect all 6, that's what triggers the bug.
Oh, Pokemon fans, there's going to be a new Pokemon Direct next week.
I mean, if this is fixed, I'll change my review to 10 out of 10. It'll now be 10 out of 10 on PC as well.
Nice.
Like, I really enjoyed that game.
To be fair, Bags, I feel like that's unfair. If the PlayStation 5 version gets all the fixes, then of course it's going to get a slightly higher review than the Xbox version.
I mean, that's a given,
I don't
right?
think that's a bias. I think that's just from the fact that it's got patches. So.
But going by that logic, does this mean that every PlayStation game that lands on PC a year later is the definitive version?
Basically, yeah.
So are you now, Bag, saying that no one should buy a PlayStation 5 because PlayStation are going to get those games... I mean, PC is going to get those games the best?
I mean, if Sony actually starts putting the effort into making the PC versions, sure. Sony has to put in the effort.
No, it only works for PlayStation.
No, the other companies actually put an effort into the PlayStation version. The issue is PlayStation doesn't seem to be putting the effort into the PC version. They're just getting it working. Like I say, yeah. If Indiana Jones comes to PlayStation and it's a bad port, it still should get...
See, I'm hearing mixed things about Spider-Man 2. Like, I was speaking to my friend. He's on PC. I mean, he has the 4090 bastard. But he's had 0 problems with the game's performance. I guess the 4090 is just brute forcing it, maybe. Maybe it's the lower end graphics cards that are really having a problem. I don't know. But, like, the higher end cards are playing it like a champ.
But you're right, though. If the game is coming over to the PC version and it is optimized for the PC properly, then yes, it's better to buy the PC version over the console. But Sony would have to put the effort into it. Paul says, Paul Harris asked, do you think anybody would be interested in a CD Spotify type thing of my game music I've worked on over the decades? I mean, that'd be cool, but I don't think many people would purchase a CD nowadays. I don't think I've bought a music CD in years.
But he said Spotify too.
Okay, Spotify, yeah, sure. But actual physical CD.
I know that like on Spotify, there's like a huge games section on there, so you know there could definitely be those interested. And if
You
you've
also
got the
got
last
YouTube
ninja,
Music as well, right?
sorry,
YouTube Music.
you've got
That's a thing,
YouTube
right, as
Music,
well.
but if it's got the last ninja music in there or anything of that kind, I'd probably be interested. Man, I asked my daughter, go get that CD. This was like maybe a couple years ago. I'll remember it forever. She actually turned around and said, "What's a CD?"
Wow, I feel old.
I was like, "No way, man!
Oh,
What's a CD?" I'm like, at that point, I have failed you. I have really, really failed you. And now they're talking with all this stupid lingo. I don't even understand it. You know what, Woodpit? I wouldn't put it past them. But in all seriousness, I prefer to listen to video game music over normal music. If I'm given the choice, I'll pick game music all the time. Nice, Paul. Nice.
by the way, did you hear about that amazing retro TV show that's got a new game announced?
No.
Yeah, a new game got announced today. I can't believe I'm saying this sentence. Actually, no, I'll be honest. I never watched this growing up, but I do remember it. I do remember it growing up in the 90s. Samurai Pizza Cats. Do you remember that?
I do, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't remember what I remember advertisements for it, but I don't ever remember actually watching it.
I'm just gonna go grab a drink real quick. Chille, I'll be right back. Keep them entertained.
Okay, we'll do. Hi, chat. It's me. I'm Chille. Anyone here fans of Pokemon? They just announced the Pokemon Direct for next week. I've heard rumors that there's supposedly going to be some Pokemon remasters of original games in a collection, so that'd be cool. I'm excited for that. Yeah, there's been rumors of a Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow collection. I like how Steve was just saying no. Again, that's just a rumor. I don't know how true. And they've also got Pokemon Z and A. Yeah, Pokemon Day. Yeah, I'm excited. It's cool when Pokemon do remasters. I agree, Seth. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Bag says Yu-Gi-Oh! There's Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection as well, right? Nice. Well, there's a new Digimon game announced as well. So, why so serious? That they announced that a while back. But yeah, there was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Classics collection on the way as well. That got announced ages ago. We've got a load of old Yu-Gi-Oh! Games that are being ported over. So if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh!, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Classic collection coming soon as well. The original Digimon games remastered. That'd be cool. Pokemon does have a card game, but it's not a basic. It's not a card game originally. The card game's just separate. Mostly want 8-bit, 16-bit based music, Amiga and Atari. That's pretty cool. I'd be interested in listening to it, Paul. New Batman Arkham game in the works, so the rumors going around. I still don't. Mysterious, though. I know a lot of people are excited for that, but I don't trust the company. Even before Suicide Squad, I really don't trust the company to actually make a good one. Like, Arkham Knight was good. Oh, now I've forgotten the names of the Batman games. Oh. Not Arkham. Arkham Knight was the bad one, right? There was Arkham City. Arkham City was good. And Arkham Asylum was good. Like, I'm worried that a lot of the people that made the previous Arkham, if it's a remaster, that's fine. But the issue is a lot of the people that made the good Batman games aren't part of the company anymore. Gorsty said we think should rename the channel the Chille Lounge with a bit of chaos. I think we'd get everyone to unsubscribe then if that happened. New Devil May Cry remake. I hope so, Bags, with the anime coming out.
Do you know what? That might make my life easier.
Was good, just too much Batmobile. Yeah, I agree.
I'll just have Chille here doing his stuff awesomely, and I can just sit back, enjoy, and play video games.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't get a single subscriber. So there's pros and cons.
Don't worry, there's no difference.
Chaos isn't here, so you can't hear him, Paul. He's only just come back. Chaos plays games. Suppose he says, Bags. Do you play games?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I try to find some time, but it's difficult. But I do play.
Steve, I thought it was Sony. I thought the Batman game was Sony exclusive.
No one knows. It's just a rumor at the present time.
Yeah.
You can hear me. I know you can. Look, I have control. I can see the bar going up.
Assuming control. If you get that reference, you're awesome.
Assuming control.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mass Effect.
Dude, everyone keeps coming to me with Mass Effect recently. Do you know how long it's been since I played it? I can't. Look, if I sat down and played Mass Effect today, it would genuinely be a new experience. Do you want to know what's the only thing I remember about the first game? I remember you start off in, your... Actually, I don't even know where you start, but the first mission that you do, you're in some kind of like ice landscape, if I remember correctly. And then you meet a couple of people, and then you head off to the main town to see the council. And that's as far as I remember from the first game. The second game wasn't that much different. And I don't remember almost nothing from the third game.
I like the third game, even though everyone disliked it. I like the second game.
Yeah, you're right.
The first game is the first game came out so much later on the PlayStation because it was exclusive to Xbox. It came out after like 3, right? I think. But the issue is they'd lost the source code to the game, so they were trying to decompile the Xbox version and get it running on the PS3. But the DLC was so buggy that they couldn't actually. They completely lost all of the source code, so they couldn't get the DLC working properly. So you just fell through the graphics most of the time.
But yeah, it's been so long. That's why when the Legendary Edition came on sale during Christmas for £6. I think it was like £5 something for all 3. I know it's available on EA Play
Game Pass,
for Game Pass, yeah. But at £6, because EA Play is part of Game Pass. And I could have played through that, but for £6, why not?
Yeah.
So I picked it up in the hopes that I'll find some time to play it. But it will literally be like a whole new experience for me all over again. Like people say, I wish I could erase my memory and replay this for the first time. I don't have to imagine that anymore or wish for it. It's gonna be that way because I literally remember nothing of that game. So maybe
are you playing Pokemon Reborn? I never
I'm
heard
not.
of Pokemon Reborn leave. Anyway, carry on. Sorry, Chaos.
I was gonna say maybe one day we could do like a Mass Effect marathon going through 1, 2, and 3.
Ooh.
If people would
I'd
like
enjoy that. Yeah, I enjoyed a lot of the Mass Effect games. Mysterious says new Fallout 2 Vegas is coming soon. I saw the trailer. I don't quite believe you.
Neither does Obsidian. So, Microsoft and their new AI model Muse has really caused a stir in the gaming landscape, haven't they? A lot of developers have hit out at this, and a lot of studios have really taken this negatively and are sick of Microsoft trying to disrupt, as Microsoft says it, the industry. Microsoft has been doing nothing but disrupting, and quite honestly, it's not worked in their favor for the most part. But what they're doing here, I think, is a little different. But if anyone watched this 7-minute clip,
I haven't watched it yet. I saw a lot of people complaining about it, but I haven't actually watched it. I've heard that supposedly Phil has been thrown to the fire with it.
yeah, he basically just completely just said no to him. Do you guys want to watch this? It's only like 7 minutes long. It's quite interesting on what it can do, but the applications of what it can do is really, really cool. And, in terms of game preservation, it can actually be the difference between preserving those games that we had from yesteryear working on current gen consoles as opposed to them never ever working again. Now that prospect...
I talk about old games never working again. And from what I've heard, if you play some of the old physics-based games on the new NVIDIA cards,
yep,
they
don't work. They don't work. There've been the actual the physics hardware calls that the 40 series have. They're basically being stripped out from the 50 series graphics cards, and your CPU is supposed to do all the heavy lifting. So if your CPU isn't very good, those physics games are about to run a hell of a lot worse. Like a lot worse.
Hey, it's great to be here. You might have seen like some exciting news came out about work that our teams are doing on the world human action model. So Katya and Dom, Katya from our Microsoft research team, Dom from Ninja Theory, we're here to talk about this interesting work and how it impacts our kind of future in research, our future in game development. It's also interesting to note that this model was just published on Azure Foundry. The weights for the model were just published on Hugging Face because we want to make sure that the industry of creators and researchers are able to engage with this work and we can all learn together. We definitely look at this work as a unique opportunity to kind of leverage the intersection of art and science, which is what video games are, to grow with the creator community. That's what these tools are about. We think there's a really unique opportunity to use technology to enable creators to do things that they've never done before. We have a great opportunity with two teams that happen to be, frankly, right next to each other in Cambridge in the UK, in our game studios and Microsoft Research. And it's been awesome to see the collaboration between those two teams. So what I'm going to ask is I want to have Katya talk about how they see this technology and the work that they've done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Phil and Dom. Fantastic to be here and reflect on the work that is coming out today. Key to this work from the very beginning was to try and understand how we can really ground the development of generative AI models in an actual understanding of what users need. In this case, what are the kinds of model capabilities that would be needed in order to really empower.
It's got a lot of lanyards. I can't hear you all.
Oh, I muted myself. I'm saying it's all the people that lost their lives trying to enter the building. That was an instant like chop.
Sorry.
That is literally her.
Also, it looks like she's got a toilet roll and a shower, or is it just me?
I don't know. You're talking in the right here, right?
Yeah, that looks like a shower room to me. Or I'm just weird.
I don't know. Anyway, let's continue.
Let's carry on.
Creatives to allow to let them explore ideas more quickly, more deeply than they might be able to do with traditional tools. And so in this work, we grounded our generative AI model development in a user study with 27 game creatives. And we were able to tease out that aspects like iterative tweaking and divergent thinking, which have already been well established in the computer-supported creativity research, those continue to be really key when creatives want to engage with these types of models, but often they're an afterthought in model development. So we turned that on its head. We started from those capabilities and then tried to really systematically push on the model capabilities that might be needed in order to support tweaking, ideation, rapid interaction. And so that is how we developed WAM and focused specifically on those model capabilities of consistency, diversity, and persistency. And you can read a lot more in the research publication and the demo videos associated with that.
I'll tell you one of the things that I get excited about. One of the things we care a lot about at Xbox is game preservation. And I think about an opportunity to have models learn about older games that were maybe tied to unique pieces of hardware where that engine on that hardware is kind of time will erode the amount of hardware that's out there that can actually play a game. But you could imagine a world where from gameplay data and video that a model could learn old games and really make them portable to any platform where these models could run. I think that's really exciting. We've talked about game preservation as an activity for us, and these models and their ability to learn completely how a game plays without the necessity of the original engine running on the original hardware, I think opens up a ton of opportunity. But the fact that this is research that was done on top of Bleeding Edge from Ninja Theory, Dom, why don't you talk about with the role that Bleeding Edge plays and how you as a creator think about this technology?
So that's the cool aspects of this. It's able to revive what was gone. And as someone in chat, I think Edward Lafferty said, was it? No, not Edward. It was someone else talking about. No, it wasn't Edward. Being able to play Battlestar Galactica, Murakumo, Mechasol, it would bring those games back to life. It would give those games a second life, as it were, a second birth, a second go at stuff, and give people the option. And maybe even make them better than what they were previously. So it's not a bad thing, but there are some dark sides to it. And let's hear what this guy has to say, because he completely, if I remember correctly, shuts Phil down.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Yeah, so as you mentioned, Katya and Katya's team and our team here at Ninja Theory, we happen to be in the same city in Cambridge in the UK. We're just down the road from each other. So when we joined Xbox Game Studios, we were introduced to Katya and we started to think about how could we collaborate. And we've been working together now for a few years. And Katya asked if they could use Bleeding Edge as a multiplayer catalog title as a test bed for their research and for this technology. We were happy for them to do that. And what we're looking at today is really the fruits of the work that Katya and the team have done. And I think for us as a game creator, the thing that I'm always really interested in is how can we help our teams do more? How can we help them to push their creative ambitions and their creativity even further? So technology like this for me, and I think for our studio here at Ninja Theory, is not about using AI to generate content, but it's actually about creating workflows and approaches that allow our team here of 100 creative experts to do more, to go further, to iterate quicker, to ideate quicker, to bring the ideas in their heads to life in a tangible form for others to see. So, although this is technology that we haven't used in the creation of our games, and we don't intend to use this technology for the creation of content, I think
that's the important part, right? Phil was talking about using it to create content, bring stuff back, further enhance and improve. and he just flat out said, "We're not going to use it. We don't intend to use it."
The interesting aspect for us that is exciting is how can we use technology like this to make the process of making games quicker and easier for our talented team so that they can really focus on the thing that I think is really special about games, which is that human creativity. Games to me are really creators using the medium of games to talk to their audience, to communicate through the medium of interactivity, and that is core to game creation for me. So what's important with this is that we have the human creativity, but through this technology we can empower them to do more and push their own dreams further than they have been before.
Yeah, like we're always thinking about how do we put tools in the hands of creators so that they can create things that they haven't been able to create before. I know you and the team will continue to make progress. We obviously have Game Developers Conference coming up. It's always a unique opportunity for us to talk about more of the innovation that's happening between our creative teams, our platform teams, and our research teams. And I'm really excited about what we will get to show next. But congrats again on all of the progress. Really, really exciting.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And thanks for the fantastic collaboration.
So it's not so much Devil it being BS. What the guy was there basically saying is, we think this technology is cool and it can do a lot, but we don't want it replacing us. That's why he focused on the human element of, making a game. Because the human element is what adds emotion, it adds, all the other
They want to use
stuff.
it as a tool to make it easier to port the games over. They don't want it to be the tool that makes the game.
Right. They don't want to take the human element out because then that'll lead to a bunch of layoffs. Here's the thing, right? Whether people like it or not, the reality is AI is the next, tech evolution. As much as I'm sick and tired of hearing about AI and all this and all that, because, it's just the only thing you ever hear now. Even like the place I work, like they just keep talking about AI and they don't even understand the concept of what AI is, but they're just throwing those buzzwords around. So you hear it a lot. But AI is designed to replace you. It's designed to replace what I do, what you do. If you're doing it in any form of technological or mechanical work, it's designed to replace you. It's no different to, say, something like automation, where I can write a script for, automated testing, and that will do the same job of about 6 people. It will literally replace 6 people for the work I do. And those scripts only need me to maintain them. Right? If they break, I just go in, update the code, and send it back out again, run the script, and it's all good. Yeah, you can take it. That's where people are up, our thing. And now the industry is really pushing back with this. I've seen a couple of articles, I think, here, like this one over here. Microsoft's generative AI model Muse isn't creating games, and it's certainly not going to solve game preservation, experts say. They're pushing back hard on this because they're all fearing that it's going to replace jobs. Here's a newsflash. It is going to replace jobs. And the harsh reality is there isn't nothing you can do about it. You're not going to stop it. So the sooner you kind of get on board and try to use it to enhance you as a person and enhance you as with your skill sets to do your job more efficiently, the more, desirable you're going to be as a person. It's sad, and a lot of jobs are going to get screwed over by this, but it's just the way the world is going at the moment, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to change. So these people can be upset and push back all they want, but it's going to happen. Brick.
I don't think it's
100%.
lazy, Talus.
It's not, Talus. It's not being lazy. It's being efficient.
Yeah.
Like, for example, right? I've got scripts that go to a website, and I've got exactly what I expect. Like I've even got it where there's a image in the back end where the page should look identical to this. When it's looking in the source code, it's looking for a particular div class, a particular source, a file name, and so forth. And then on screen, it's looking for it in a certain area to the pixel. A normal person won't be able to see that and catch everything. My script will catch everything that's either been changed, moved, not rendering in the right place, and everything. And it'll do it in about 5 minutes. A full regression test of that kind by a normal person is about 3 hours. My script can do it in 5 minutes. And it will list me out all the effects, defects, and all I have to do at that point is put them into Jira or whatever platform we use and report them as bugs. It's just efficiency. And it's just the way it is. Look, I didn't even have to talk about it, and it's right there. That doesn't count.
Oh, that's 14.
That was not planned. I didn't mention it. He mentioned it. I didn't mention it. I'm just saying that even when I'm not talking about it, it's still there. So it doesn't count.
Hey, but also Avowed is there. So
I know, right? Let's put Avowed into the picture.
And now it's gone. Replaced by, well, the hell that is. A bald man, a ship.
See, Devin, here's the thing. This is why jobs now like, plumbers, electricians, DIY. People don't want to do those jobs because they're too much hands-on. But those jobs...
Don't worry. No, but you say that, but the future might... Who knows? Give it 10 to 15 years. Japan might invent an AI that unclogs the...
No, Steve, I didn't say it. I did not say it. That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
I said it.
He said it.
Count.
It doesn't count. But the reality is, companies want efficiency, and they're going to use this. Even Microsoft saying, "Oh, we want to use this to, enhance this and make things better." If they're building that work in less time, that means they don't need as many people. It's always going to lead to cost saving.
And plus, we all know that if they said more, they'd get even more backlash. Like, even if they said the fact that, we're going to use it to make games, even if that is something they're going to do in 15 years from now, they would get so much backlash because people would complain versus slowly drip feeding it over time.
But yeah, like, as I was saying, like plumbers, electricians, builders, DIY, these jobs will never go away because they're always in demand. And if you look at what they cost now, as opposed to 5-10 years ago, just to call a plumber round or an electrician round, the call out fee alone right now is about £100. That's before they touch anything. And their prices are going up every day. So if you want like a job that is genuinely going to pay you a lot of money and is going to be in demand all the time, you should be looking at those because they are really in demand. People look down on those jobs, but those jobs aren't getting replaced by AI. Maybe in the future when we get to iRobot status, maybe, because then robots are robots.
I said, give it 15 years and maybe Japan will invent a toilet that will have like a robot brush that comes out. You press the button that will push the poop down for you. But that's in like 15, 20 years.
But right now...
Like it'll have like an AI a poop sensor.
Yeah. But you can see, just from the title, you can see that they're already pushing back and they're not happy with it at all. Cook is an expert on
a lot of people I've seen complain about it as well. But like, no, the new Ninja Gaiden game, well, not new, but like the Ninja Gaiden 2, they must have used tools because they ported the whole of the original engine into Unreal. Like, not even like, they literally ported the code over.
But here's the thing, right? Do you think these people actually write the code in full?
No.
They're using AI tools anyway already. They've been using AI tools for the past 10, 15, 20 years to do all this anyway. It's just now it's become more sophisticated. But
Not
they've been
even
using.
not even just big companies though, because a lot of people used to use stuff like Game Maker, which although it's not technically AI, is pre-made code that you bundle together.
Yeah.
Like it's already blocks of code that you just stick together to work on your game. You're not writing it yourself. It's already, so it's not as it's not AI, but it's already done. AI is just writing it for you. Yeah.
This is something that I haven't been. I think it had been like almost the best part of a year since I went to a supermarket to do some shopping.
Yeah, I do all my shopping online, to be honest.
Yeah, I do it all online. But it wasn't long ago that we actually went and did a. I think we went to. It's either Sainsbury's or Morrison's. I can't remember. No, it was an Asda. It was an Asda. It was an Asda.
Yeah.
And we went in, and I'm looking for the cashiers. And my daughter's like, "What cashiers? You know, the people that stand behind the cash point, and you put it through, and it goes beep, beep, beep." She goes, "No, you go and pay over there." I was like, "Yeah, but where's the people to make sure I don't run away with it?" No one's running away with it. I'm like, "Get out of here!" You think? But there was no cashiers, like none at all. You had the cigarette counter on the left with the lottery, which requires over 18s and stuff, so that had it. But that was like not for you paying for your groceries. Everything was done. You had like two people standing there inside the foyer to make sure people don't run off with their shopping. But everyone was just paying for it via self-checkout. And I was like, man, they really did do away with all those people.
But I think it's Aldi. I might be. I can't remember if it's Aldi a little. But now when you go into Aldi, you have to pay £10 to go in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No wonder they went to third.
You have to scan your phone, I think, or something like. You have to scan like either a wireless card or whatever. You pay £10, and then that £10 is taken out of your shopping, or you get refunded later.
Right.
So.
No wonder they dropped to third best UK shopping centre. But yeah, I mean, AI isn't going anywhere. People can push back, and I totally get why people are pushing back. Like when I was doing because I work in QA, and I was predominantly a functional QA tester, and my job got replaced because I do functional testing. So if I didn't start getting into learning Selenium, Java to be able to write and read the scripts and write this stuff, I'd be out of a job now. I had to adapt what I had to work with the technology and not against it. The only problem is you can't do that with everything. You look at art today, and art is becoming increasingly difficult to tell apart from what is AI and what isn't. There's a few telling signs, but even those are getting perfected now. I like self-checkout because I
also like self-checkout. By the way, I do want to. I know it sounds weird, but I do want to try an Amazon Fresh place at one point because I feel like I'm going to be. I know you're getting paid. You're paying, but it would feel like I'm robbing the place because of it. Like I always want to try. I mean, you've seen those Amazon Fresh places, right?
I have not. I don't go out much.
Basically, they have cameras everywhere, right?
All right.
Cameras everywhere. And then everything you put in your basket, you just take out. Yeah, that's it. There's no checkouts or anything. It uses the weight to know how much you put in your basket, and then when you leave, you scan your Amazon account when you go in. You scan your Amazon account when you go out, and then it charges your card. There's no checkouts or anything. You just put the stuff in your basket and leave.
Interesting.
So,
here's a question: how many people here actually carry cash? Like Paper notes,
Not often.
coins.
Not really.
What's up, Wayne?
Don't really bring any. I don't really carry cash on me.
I can't remember the last time I carried money.
I mean,
I literally can't remember the last time.
well,
I know buses don't take them
my
anymore.
my hairdressers are still cash, so
You know, buses in
Still
London weren't taking cash anymore. You had to overpay by card or Oyster.
yeah. I still use cash for my hairdresser, but that's about it.
You've been asking for $2 bills.
Oh.
They are pretty determined, those homeless people, though. They start saying, empty your pockets, let me see you've got no money. That's what one turned around and told me.
Oh. I have a $5 on me. I don't know where it came from, but I have it. I still remember when everyone complained about the fact that the money wasn't vegan.
Oh, I remember that. That was so stupid.
And then they found out it was like less than 1% of a cow that was part of the body that nobody eats anyway was what was used for the entire country's currency. Yeah, wood pit. If you're worried about eating your money, just know that your notes aren't vegan. No, it's because of the UK notes have like a plastic on them, and the plastic itself it wasn't vegan. I don't know if it's the same thing. So if you try and eat your £5 note.
Do you remember that?
It was Gorsty. It was the tallow.
When that guy is stuffing his pockets, walks out, security guard stops the guy and just goes, "You forgot your receipt." Oh, Oreo, what's wrong? Oreo?
But yeah, same brick wall. I use my cash at the hairdressers.
Just
got my next appointment for March 12th to get my hair cut.
I need to trim my beard a little bit.
Because I'm going to be seeing Jimmy Carr that week, so I'm excited.
Ooh, interesting. Should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, my sister was like, I bought you and a friend tickets to go see Jimmy Carr for your birthday. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Do you want to know when she bought me the tickets?
When?
The fact that I remembered them is amazing. 2023.
Jesus.
So I've had these tickets on me since then.
I don't need a hairdresser. My wife just cuts my hair for me. I save money on that.
See, I'm lucky I've gone to the same hairdressers for so long that even though she's increased the price, she doesn't charge me extra. I still get charged the price that I went there like 10 years ago. So.
Oh, my missus, she just learned over the years because she was cutting it for my kids, and then now we just don't need it. I mean, now my two older boys want to go and get some weird hairstyles, you know, like these kids do these days. So she's not that experienced, but the basic styles, you know, like the whole blended in steps and everything like that, she can do.
Yeah.
So,
I do sides and back.
Yeah, I just do number 4 straight over. Perfect egg. It works.
But good luck, Seth, with the surgery. I'm wishing you the best.
Who's having surgery?
Seth Zero says they got at least surgery. Yeah, wishing you the best. Seriously.
You're having surgery? You kept that one on the down low, Seth? Unless this is what I think it is. You go to the CEX shop. No, I do not have the rim bowl cut. That is not what I do. Oh, mate, I remember when I was a kid, right? My mum used to cut my hair. And so one day, she was watching, her Turkish soap while cutting my hair. And she put the wrong clipper on. And as she went up, it just went, and she stopped. Literally, all my sideburn gone on one side. It was the most humiliating thing I've experienced in school. Because she had to do the same on the other side.
You were allowed hair.
Right? But that's not the worst part.
Oh.
Not only, right, did she do that to me and violate me, but until it actually grew back, there wasn't a single day she didn't laugh at me.
But you were allowed hair, man.
Yeah, but she couldn't look at me without laughing, and it was her fault.
Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail, but because of health reasons, my hair was always completely shaved off because I wasn't allowed to grow it. The only thing I had was a ponytail until I was about 9. So,
this is cool. We are excited to share that Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader is now available on Xbox Game Pass for Xbox Series S and X and PC. If I didn't see this, I would have no idea. Players who have a Game Pass subscription can now play the game completely for free. Those who use the Microsoft Store to play the game can share their saves between PC and console, but I have no idea what this game is.
Yeah, well, seriously, yeah, I did have a ponytail until I was about 10.
Should we check what this game is? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, sure.
Because after this, I have a couple things I want to talk about. But I actually want to talk about Shuhei Yoshida. So let me just put these in line to what I want.
He's hyping again and says no idea what it is. To be fair, it's a Warhammer game. So
Wait, I did not hype it. I just said it's...
You were hyping it.
How was I hyping it?
Why is... Oh, no, you're 32. I thought I saw 2 people there live on X playing Final Fantasy 10-2. Is there something like... No, one of them's 13-2.
I'm not hyping it. I just have no idea what it is, but it is available on Game Pass. What's it called again? Road Trade.
I'm excited to try it. What was it called again?
I didn't even say I'm excited to try it. I just wanted to let people know because this is the problem Microsoft has. They release these games. No one knows that they're out. Right?
Yeah.
You kind of need to know that a game is out for people to go and play it. But apparently it's an old game.
I mean, it's probably from like...
Last year.
Oh, it's a year ago. I thought it was even older than that, to be honest.
Rogue traders, daring explorers who benefit from a unique style of freedom normally unheard of in the Imperium, with means to decide the fate of entire regions of space. Little can...
This sounds like a strategy game.
Their pursuit of domination and power. And they do not venture alone. Their crew contains some of the galaxy's most unique...
I'm getting XCOM vibes.
Yeah.
Psychers, strange Xenos, servants of the Inquisition, and even space marines of the Adeptus Astartes. Ulfa is a lone space wolf survivor whose pack was defeated by the murderous Drukari.
I do like how the narrator is trying to make this sound as epic as possible.
Where their
Yeah.
unique skills can be the deciding factor between victory and defeat.
This is XCOM, right? Reskin.
It has to be. It looks like it.
In their personal void ship and the resource-rich
What?
worlds under their control.
I don't even think it's XCOM anymore.
What makes them such
Now we're...
What was that space game that
Now
was
we're in
like this?
space.
Humanity are numerous, and they will not relinquish an opportunity to strike.
It's Red 13.
Insidious corruption which works to undermine the strength of the Imperium's most staunch defenders. Chaos. Only with
We must kill chaos.
zeal and steadfast faith can
Just leave me out of this.
stands the law of ruinous powers. And those who succumb to the darkness.
I mean, it's free on Game Pass, Seth.
In exchange for their soul, only madness and damnation await.
Join the beta on June 1st. Well, we missed it. I think we missed it by a little bit.
Okay, that statue's kind of cool.
You know it's not going to look that good.
Of course not. But hey, someone might like this. And if you do,
I mean, Seth says what day one purchase, so they like it. I mean, you're going to have to go back in time to day one purchase it, but...
hey, no. It's day one on Game Pass now. It wasn't available. It was day one on PC and Steam and GOG.
Okay.
Now it's day one on console.
Okay.
Because apparently now you can say console exclusive. Up until last week, console exclusive was a made-up term that Microsoft made up. But now that it works in the Pony's narrative, console exclusive is now an accepted term.
I've always been a term for a long time.
It's a made-up term. It's never been a real thing. You're either exclusive or you're not. It's really that simple, right? But Xbox made up the term console exclusive to differentiate between it not being on either console. And of course, for the longest time, PlayStation fans mocked it, saying there's no such thing. It's either exclusive or not. And it's a made-up term. But now that PlayStation games are being released day one on PC, now they're using the console exclusive. Oh, you can't make it up. It's interesting.
It is a little bit.
It's just the way they backtrack so much. Oh, it is funny.
But to be honest, I always thought console exclusive was a thing.
No, it's not. It's just a made up term. You're either the game is exclusive.
Every
or isn't.
term is a made up term.
Well, exclusive isn't.
Yeah. But anyway, the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles crossover event.
I know.
I'm excited for the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
$90 to unlock all the crossover content.
That I hate to say, but depends on how much crossover content there is for $90. Using the word $90 makes it sound more expensive than it might be. I mean, it's expensive, but like, what's included with that $90? I hate just throwing the term $90 and then you find out it's like a bajillion.
A single
things.
character bundle will likely cost $20. So $80 just for these guys. So there must be $10 for something else. I'm guessing you can't buy the pack without thing. So yeah.
Master Splinter as well.
Assuming a player has no COD points, then the cheapest way to buy 10,700 COD points is to buy a pack of 9,500 and 1,100 points and 200 points for a total price of $86.97. So basically $9. Man, they wonder why people use AdBlock.
Yeah, there's a lot of ads.
The price to buy all the Teenage Mutant content released for Street Fighter 6 came to 99.98 in premium currency.
It's expensive, but if there's a lot of stuff, there's also the licensing fees. Like Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, Teenage Mutant.
You really want to get me copyright straight?
Heroes in the half shell. turtle power?
I'm gonna slap you.
Don't you defend that shit? Look, people put effort and time into making the skins, and then they also have to share the profits with the company that they bought the license from. Like, I understand why licensed content will cost more than just in home house content, because they have to share the profits. If it was $90 for some random Call of Duty skin, then yeah, I would understand. But when the fact that they're gonna have to pay a fee to make the content, I will give it a little bit more slack. But that's just me.
But yeah, number one, I agree with Bags. They take it way too seriously. And number two, you've clearly got selective memory.
Coming out here with the pony defense logic. Look, if you're selling...
Oh, not that. Not you. Someone in chat.
No,
responding to bullets.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always going to be a bit defensive, right?
Yeah, I'm as I literally said, I had a ponytail until I was 10. And I only got rid of it because the school forced me to have it because it was against their dress code to have ponytails.
But here's an interesting one for you, Chille. Astro Bot is supposed to be a children's game, right? It's aimed towards a younger audience. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
So having a name for a level called Thrust or Bust.
I think that's... I don't
defend it. Don't defend it. You're trying
I don't see
to
the problem in that. The thing is, though, Chaos, you're going into this knowing what that means. The kid isn't going to know what that means.
Look,
so you're going to get this joke. Well, the kid isn't. No,
I'm buying this for my kid. Hey,
and
Timmy, here's a Thrust or Bust level for you.
Like, I don't know. I like when stuff uses stuff that the adults can laugh about because it's more aimed for adults, but in the same way, it's so vague enough that the kids probably won't understand what it means.
But then the kid turns around and goes,
I find that smart.
Dad, why are you laughing? What does it mean?
That's your fault. That's then up to you. Yeah, as Blue says, like when Disney makes one of those adult jokes. It's smart when you can add something that the adults are going to enjoy while they're watching it with their kids.
My mind is not corrupted. Everyone in chat knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's a very interesting name. They've got a plethora of different names that they could choose. But they went with Thrust or Bust. I like it, don't get me wrong. I just thought it was funny.
At least it's not Thrust and Bust. Then you've got questions. That's a little more than Disney would do. No. Disney would have done so much worse than this.
Oh yeah, Disney would have done way worse.
Disney has done way worse than this. Yeah.
They have released a bunch of free content, haven't they?
I feel like... Oh, God.
I reduced it. They have released a bunch of new content for this, which is kind of cool.
And it's free, right?
It's free, yeah. Except the remasters. They need to milk you guys for everything you have for that one.
Yeah, we've got to be charged $10 for those.
Actually, since we're on the topic of remasters, there was one I wanted to talk about.
Okay, well, I need to bear it back for a little bit, if that's okay?
Yep. So there's that one there. All right. So, with this that out of the way, apologies. That remaster is I mean, the difference in this remaster is pretty big, right? Brick, you're pushing it now. But what do you think of this remaster? I mean, is this even a remaster? I can't see the difference. Like, even this one actually looks grainier than this one. It actually looks worse in some places. Hey, Seth, Vanish is pretty good. It's the number one selling product when you're going down that path. You got one extra freckle. Like, what's the difference? Like, this is literally taking the piss. The only reason this remaster exists is because they had to cancel their live service game. That's it. No, basically, they've got a gaping black hole in their books because they spent 3 years working on that God of War live service game, and then they were told to cancel it. Now they've got a massive hole in their books, which looks really bad for their end of year profit and loss, so they need to close some of that gap. So the easiest way to do that is to do the dirtiest remaster ever. Ben Studios didn't work on Concord. You can see the torch flame is sharper. It looks better on the original. Yeah, that difference is insane. That is dope. This is really bad. I just don't get it. Chille said he'll be right back.
Hello, I stepped away, and then you said, "Can you compare the difference?" And I was in the kitchen, and I'm like, I can't believe I know what he's talking about without even looking at the screen. I even said in person, "Oh God, Days Gone." I didn't even need to see the screenshots to know what you were talking about.
Why on earth is this giving me an ad?
Sorry, I decided to go make a cup of tea because I needed the caffeine.
Give me 1 second. I'm just going to mute you for a second because I'm trying to get rid of this ad. And you're on the same track. Yes, you have been silenced just for the time being. So it seems if you embed it, it actually gets around my YouTube Premium. That's interesting. So this video is comparing the two outside of those photos. You're unmuted now, by the way, Chille.
Okay. By the way, I still think the original looks better than the remaster.
I thought it did as well. They took the blood away as well.
The remaster looks softer.
Yeah, that's because of the pisser. You know what? This is gonna get me demonetized.
You know, they should have told us the demaster.
Like this is just, and the thing I'm seeing a lot of people saying, they bought it just to support it. They're never gonna play it, but they paid the $10 to support it. I mean, why would you do that? Hey, Devastator.
Look, I can't say much. I'd probably end up doing it with a game that I like. So,
Brother's grit. That's good. I like it. I like it. The DLC isn't new story. It's like a horde mode and stuff like that. Oh, the DLC. No idea what that is. But this just feels dirty. I mean, her face came out a little bit more with the lighting. It's just... I kind of preferred this to the other one, though. And the other one, you can barely see her face, and now she looks like she's got some kind of spike for an eye coming in through the reflection. This is bad. This game didn't need a remaster. But you know what? They're going to slop it up like they always do. But this is an insult to gamers. And then to turn and charge $70 for this as well? Or is it $60? If you're buying it digitally? That's crazy.
by the way, Leaf, give us a Knack remaster. I'll buy that. I
No.
enjoyed Knack.
You must be the only one that like Knack. That game was bad.
Knack 2 was bad. The first Knack was pretty good.
Yeah, no one acknowledges Knack 2. It just didn't exist. I just don't get it. This did not need it.
Am I in some sort of denial? No. I just have a weird taste in video games.
Look, it just didn't need a remaster. It's a cash grab. It literally is a cash grab. There's nothing else that you can really say about it. Steve's just trolling. That's clearly what he's doing. You sent me a DM?
Yeah, Steve would never troll. He doesn't know how
Oh
to.
yeah, I saw this one that he sent yesterday, not too long ago, right?
Oh.
Wasn't this the one Devastator you said for Thursday? I swear you posted this somewhere else as well. I had that one lined up. So what do you think of this take, Chille? Bungie saved Naughty Dog. It was worth every penny of the $4 billion.
I don't know. I think wasn't The Last of Us Online, people enjoyed it
Yes.
on the originals, so
And it was something
yeah.
I personally was very much looking forward to playing. I think that was probably going to be the live service game that would have stolen a lot of time from me.
I think it could have done really well if done correctly.
So here's the thing, right? Bungie went in, looked at Last of Us Online, which Druckerman said was the best TLU that he's worked on. Shuhei Yoshida says it was great. Sony went in and said, nah, bro, this ain't it. This is not going to work. And now later it's been said that they said, you know, Bungie told them what it takes to make a live service game. So with all that information in hand, would you agree that the reason this game got cancelled is because of Bungie?
Well, 100%, yeah. That's 100% Bungie.
So the fact that I'm now being challenged by PlayStation fans who say Bungie had nothing to do with this cancellation.
Bungie has everything to do with the cancellation.
But they allowed Concord.
Yeah.
So here is my theory, right? Here is my theory. And this is how I envision it going down. Bungie already knew that Destiny was in turmoil. Numbers don't lie. They walked in and saw TLU and said, holy crap, this game looks amazing. We need to get this off the shelf. Canned. And then they looked at Concord and said, yeah, this game is so bad, let them run with it because it will make us look good. How far do you think I'm off?
Not at all. In fact, they were probably hoping that Concord got more support than it did, so that way they can make Destiny look even better.
And so my point was, and even when I went on P-Rock's stream, that Bungie were the ones that moved in and said this game isn't happening. They pretty much got it cancelled.
They also cancelled the Sony Bend game, right, and the Spider-Man game. Because, you know, nobody really wants an online Spider-Man game co-op. That's just something that nobody wants.
Well, the Bend one was, that was Herman Holst. He moved in and cancelled that one at the end when they started cancelling everything. But the Spider-Man one, I believe it was probably Bungie as well, yeah.
Concord had a bunch of Bungie devs. Well, supposedly Halo has a load of Concord devs, so we'll see if that's true or not.
Concord was a bunch of... That's why it played like Crucible. If you've played Crucible in Destiny, that's what Concord was, but without the supers. Yeah. You know the hero moments? Like you see Aztecross running in, 1v3ing the team because he can pull off that super ability at the right time with the right skill to be able to win. You couldn't do that. There was none of that in Concord. Concord had a lot of problems. It's a shame. It had a lot of problems in terms of just core fundamental mechanics and gameplay and balancing. And that's why it failed. Yeah. I mean, the characters were a bonus as to why it failed. But if you do, you know, you play Overwatch, right?
Yeah. and Marvel Rivals.
Right. So if you take a headshot with a sniper rifle, it's a one hit,
Yeah.
one kill, right?
Yeah, it does a kill.
See, in Concord, it didn't kill them. It took 60 or 70% of their life, and a sniper
That's
was
like
a
Destiny, right?
no. In Destiny, if you're using a kind of like an
Depends on
auto
the
fire
sniper
one,
rifle,
yeah.
of course, but
This is
yeah.
a bolt action in Concord. That should be a one
Oh
hit,
yeah,
one
that
kill,
was an insta kill.
right? That's like No Land Beyond.
Yeah.
Here, it took 70%, and by the time you actually reloaded, that dude was upon you and killed you. And there were other, critical flaws in the game. You couldn't 1v3 anyone, 1v4 anyone. You couldn't do it. No matter how good you are, you're not doing it. There was just too much wrong with it. And in my opinion, Bungie saw that and said, you know what? Yeah, go with that one, man. Go with that one. Because that's the only logical thing I can think of. But it was the Crucible team that built that game. And it's shocking that... I mean, when you played it, it felt like Destiny anyway. The levels felt like Destiny. It just felt like they ripped Crucible out of Destiny and made it worse. Exactly, Brick. See, he gets it. Oh, I agree. And the fact is, right, are you telling me that they couldn't get a second team in at Naughty Dog to do the live service game? Is Sony that broke? Where they're winning awards after awards and getting Game of the Years after Game of the Years and they can't even afford to expand their studios? Or are they still laying people off despite the work they're doing? It doesn't make sense to me. But when
About that, what do you think about that outrage that happened recently with Marvel Rivals firing the US team?
Yeah, we spoke about this on yesterday, right? Was it yesterday or on Tuesday? But that was just a support studio, right?
Yeah.
So
it seemed to make it way worse than it actually was.
yeah, that was just another case of the media jumping onto something without actually understanding. And you've seen the thing. I mean, it was just a support
From
studio.
what I've been reading, it was 6 people.
I mean, it could have been 12. It doesn't matter. It's a support studio.
Yeah.
The whole purpose that they exist is to come in, support the main team while the game is in development and during the launch period. And then they go. That is how it works.
Yeah. It was just so frustrating to see online that night. Everyone like, oh my God, we're quitting Marvel Rivals for now because of this. I'm like, do people understand? Yeah, it sucks that people lost their jobs, Steve, but like most companies do this with every game that ever existed ever.
No way.
Wait, what?
My dude put Concord into the same sentence as Team Fortress 2. Mate, don't be high, man.
Talk about, but
drugs is bad.
Talk about
You
Team
shouldn't
Fortress
do it.
2.
Drugs is bad. You
Team
shouldn't do
Fortress
it.
2.
What about it?
They just released the SDK, didn't they? A few days ago.
Yeah.
The full development kit of Team Fortress 2 for people to make their own version.
Well, I guess if he worked for EA before, he's used to being laid off with short notice. At least he's used to that.
20 on Steam. To be fair, it's also free to play.
Nah, they don't. But it's normal. Like, even when I used to be in the games industry and I used to work, in the QA, we used to work with support studios. I mean, even now in tech, where I'm at right now, we have support studios come in to support us in certain things. Once the project is done and delivered, their time is done and they're gone. The whole studio just closes down because they're just set up to support. It's in the name. Once the whole bulk of the work is done and they're rolling, the main development team can handle the rest.
Isn't Team Fortress 2 just Gary's mod? Not in I haven't heard that name in years. Oh.
But yeah, so I found it really interesting that they are still saying Bungie had nothing to do with this. And finally, now they're saying Bungie doing that was worth the $4 billion they were paid. Which is, again, interesting. But, you know, Nib's coming in straight away with the, oh, but they still saved money. They didn't pay all of that money. So basically, he's now glorifying people losing out on their severance pay because of layoffs. I don't even think how much of a fanboy this guy is that he realizes that what he's just done there is glorifying people getting cheated out of money that they earned, just so the plastic company he supports is going to make. And I don't even think they got that money back.
I think I've even blocked that guy. He says such stupid things most of the time.
This guy, Nibs, literally just glorified people losing their jobs. I don't care how you want to sugarcoat it. He just glorified it as a win. People losing their jobs, he glorified it here right now as a win. That's disgusting. I don't know how else.
Tell us yes, but trust me, Team Fortress 2 is nothing like the original version that came with Orange Box. It's so much different now.
Devastator, I get that they made us think about it, but at the same time, you know, at least the media should do their due diligence, man. They shouldn't just jump at a story. It's not, you know, the media isn't people like me or Gaz or Cole or Puerto Rico. You know, we just look at the news and talk about the news. These people are supposed to be, you know, have access to information that we don't, access to channels that we don't. They can verify information that we can't. So they're supposed to be better than that. Not just jump on the first bit of news and say, oh, well, we're just going to post it anyway. I mean, I just don't believe that they didn't know that that was the case. They just saw an easy win for an article and they took it.
Yeah, it was easy clickbait.
Yeah. But yeah, Shuhei Yoshida spilled a lot of laundry.
He's said a lot of things recently.
Yeah.
Ever since he left, he's not stopped doing interviews. Maybe he'll come on this show.
But man, Jim Ryan giving him that ultimatum is just nasty work.
Yeah.
You either go and manage the indie team or you get the hell out. That is nasty work. That is nasty, nasty work. And now people are saying it wasn't Jim Ryan, it was the people above him. So why isn't it Satya Nadella and not Phil Spencer? Or is it a different rule again for PlayStation as it is for Xbox? One rule for me, but not the same for you. This is what I love about it.
I still remember. Oh, I'm sorry if I butcher his name, but one of Sony's previous indie, the people who was in charge of the indie side of Sony in the 2010s, he was on my podcast once. He was on my PlayStation podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And we had him on, and then at Eurogamer Expo, he was doing like a developer showcase, you know, to talk about future indie games coming to PS3 and stuff. Anyway, one of my coolest moments is so many people decided to rush to the to the front to try and get interviews, right? All these people, like big named, you know, IGN, GameSpot, all like, you know, like trying to get his attention. And he's got bodyguards and stuff. he sees me. But he says I can sit at the front. He gave me permission to sit at the front. He saw me at the front, and he just called me over, and ended up going off and having a chat with him. It was one of my coolest moments while he was still the head of Sony at the Indies at the time. It's like he asked for me personally, while everyone else was trying to fight to get to him.
Nice.
How's my Dragon Quest III adventure going? We got into a pyramid, and after an hour and a half of dying, we finally beat the pyramid. Oh, and I stole someone's underwear. So that's how Dragon Quest III is going.
Yeah, but this guy wasn't he the president at PlayStation at one time? Shuhei Yoshida?
Yeah, he was the president.
Right. So he stepped down as president for Jim to come or someone else to move in. You don't treat people like that. I would regard him as pretty much one of the founders of PlayStation. Him and Ken Kutaragi. Business is business, but you don't treat people like that. I don't agree with that, Steve. Not one bit. I understand what you're saying.
I do have this guy on my friends list though.
But I don't agree with that at all. There are certain things that, no, I don't agree with that.
I have Yoshida on my PlayStation friends list.
What is he playing right now?
I can go check if you want. Give me 1 second.
He's going to be playing Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation, right?
I think a lot of smaller titles, actually, from what I remember.
By the way, quick question, chat. What is it with Reforge and Destin? They seem to be at war right now. He's playing Avowed?
He's been playing V-Rising, Animal Well, and Power World.
Power World. You see? He's playing Halo.
Yeah, last game supposedly was Animal Well. I don't know when he last played. He has 9 platinums.
Nine platinums. He must be a trash player, according to KGN Gamer. Did.
He has more platinums than me.
I just don't do platinums.
I love how his display case. Oh no, then more stuff popped up now. It was just him and a PS3. That was all. Then everything's popping up now.
I don't know, because I saw this by Astro Cyborg. It's a short clip, and Destin says here, as someone all the PS5 fanboys think shouldn't be taken seriously, you'll sure do get mad about my tweets. I haven't actually watched it, but apparently he gets very upset in this with Destin and makes some very, very questionable accusations as well.
This will probably be one of my last things before I have to run though.
Yeah, that's fine. After this, I've got one more video that I'm gonna check out that Devastator sent me. Something about Dreamcast guy made a fake fired video that he was deeply shocked about, so I'll check that one out after. But I want to check this out and see what he's actually got to say, because I don't know, I find it weird. Like, why does it bother him so much what Destin thinks? And if there's any PlayStation fans in here, and if there is any PlayStation fans in here, like, I mean, diehard PlayStation fans, why does it bother you that what Destin says? I mean, Destin has been trolling a lot lately. The South of Midnight stuff, that's his opinion at the end of the day. I think he focused on the wrong thing with the story. But the gameplay stuff could be valid. But, we'll see when we get to play it. But, he trolls a lot. Why, everyone else does. Why wouldn't he? He's not going to be strict professional all the time.
doesn't appreciate being corrected. He said, "Is someone all the PS fanboys think shouldn't be taken seriously? Y'all sure do get mad about my tweets." So,
Okay, there we go.
what that's called gaslighting. So when you say something false and you get corrected, what you're doing is a form of passive ad hominem. Instead of admitting that you were wrong, correcting your tweet, doing a retraction, you're now using a label. You're now using a pejorative to act like the people that are upset at your tweets. He's also doing
So basically, what he basically does on a day-to-day basis is pretty much describing himself right now.
emotional projection. So he's using a pejorative and emotional projection to distract from the fact that he made a tweet that was inaccurate. So you have to understand something, Destin. You're in the public. And when you're in the public and you're a publicly viewed person who claims you're going to be doing your own reporting based off of truth and evidence, and you say something that is factually incorrect, you're going to get corrected. You getting corrected for saying something false isn't anger or fanboyism.
Oh no, it is fanboyism. It is 100% fanboyism. The way they go after this guy, it's 100% fanboyism.
It's called accountability. That's a fun word. Accountability, isn't it?
Because when people hold him accountable, it's received by a block. But he will never accept that he's wrong.
You're being held accountable for saying something false. If I walked out and made a tweet and said PlayStation 5 has hit 100 million sales, that's crazy how much better they are than Xbox, you have every right to correct my falsehood. And if my response is, well, I guess my tweet really upset the Xbox, herder, like, you're not accepting the fact that you said something false and you're being corrected. That's not fanboyism.
But he does come out and say when he's wrong. I've seen multiple tweets where he says, I was wrong about something. I've never once seen him say I was wrong, though. It's almost like he should look into the mirror, right?
That's not anger. The irony is, falsely interpreting what Yoshida said, that's fanboyism.
What did Yoshida say that was falsely interpreted? He basically said that he was given an ultimatum. Go here or get the hell out. He spilled the beans about Demon Souls and FromSoft not wanting to work with Sony for the next game. He also confirmed that Bungie was the reason that The Last of Us 2 Factions 2 got cancelled. What exactly is there to misinterpret? Oh, right. He's talking about the PC thing, where Yoshida said, our biggest market for PC is US and China. And every single PlayStation fanboy just completely skips the US part and just wants to talk about the China part, which I'm guessing that's what he's referring to. So I'm guessing he's also part of the Lie Brigade?
That's access journalism. You're maintaining your access to Phil and Xbox by continuing to propagate false framed ideas, false framed narratives about PlayStation and the gaming market. And
this is referring to the day one releases on PC. That's actually happening right now, right? With the likes of Days Gone Remaster, the remakes, Siren, which is coming this year, day one PlayStation game on PlayStation and PC. But now the narrative changed, right? I was actually talking about this earlier on X, and now people said, oh, normal story games that aren't AAA blockbuster are okay to go day and date. It's the AAA blockbusters now. So we've gone, right, from Herman Holst saying they will never be day and date, to live service is okay to be day and date, to remasters are okay to be day and date, to remakes are okay to be day and date, and now to, AA games being okay to be day and date. Does anyone see a pattern here? Just anyone. I'm just going to put it out there. Does anyone see the trajectory where this is going?
There's a little bit of a pattern.
I mean, the trajectory has been changing and going in one direction, and it is going continuously in that one direction. Yoshida may have come and said X, Y, and Z, but the reality is, if you look at what the business model is doing, it's doing something completely different.
Plus, he's not lying anyway, because when he was probably in part of the company, when he had, when he had say in the company,
It
then
probably
maybe
wasn't.
what he said, the fact that it was going to be true, the fact that day wasn't going to happen. But guess what? He's not there anymore. Things can change. Oh. But I've always supported live service games being on both PlayStation and PC, and Xbox would be nice as well.
I think
because
that
the
all
more people playing your game, the better.
Exactly. I think any live service game should be, if it's possible to be on all platforms, it's a no-brainer for it to be. Yeah, be on as many platforms. Because what keeps your live service game alive is the players. Even if it is free to play, they're just, they're going in and they don't spend that microtransaction. The fact that they're in the game is the currency. It keeps the game alive.
Yeah. And there's more chances of them spending money if they keep playing it.
Exactly.
Because they think, oh, I played this game for 25 hours. Maybe I'll buy that skin.
Yeah. Exactly. So this is why me personally, whether it's a live service game released by Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, or even only for PC, I think they should appear on every platform. Those are the only ones that I think, exclusivity is silly.
Every platform that's possible, should we say.
Yeah, that's capable of running it. Because, my Etch-a-Sketch and Samsung fridge might not be able to do it.
Yeah.
Even though Bacteria can run Doom, it's now been done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Everything can run Doom, though.
Yeah, but Bacteria was pretty special.
Yeah,
I think it takes 6,000 years to actually complete the game, but it's doable.
Hey, that's still faster than Dreamcast, eh?
I did, Bex. But at the end of the day, you want players. There's so many live service games that I've seen die because of the lack of players, because of one platform or not playing it or another. And I just think those games could have survived and become something great. Like even some of the gacha games I played that are they split the console base and the PC base. And if they combined them, it would be so much better. Because you just have more people to play with in those kind of MMO landscapes. And you can see the difference.
Oh. Talking gacha games, my Dragon Ball game did something crazy for the anniversary. The anniversary is going on right now.
They gave you a pumpkin skin again, didn't they?
No. If you finish all the missions that come out on Friday, you can pick one of the new anniversary units for free. Which for a gacha game is crazy.
Nice. But I'd just like to point Exhibit A to Chris Coleman because he just proved my point. The goalpost movement is phenomenal. It went from no day one game now to AAA game. It went from no single player game to AAA game. The goalpost movement there is a chef's kiss. And I applaud you and I thank you for proving my point. You, my friend.
I agree with partner games. Sony has no control over partner games.
You always have control. It's your IP. You can say no.
No, Lost Souls. I don't think Sony owns Lost Souls.
They're publishing it.
Yeah.
They are the publisher. If you are publishing it, just like Activision used to publish Destiny, Activision had the full rights to do whatever the hell they wanted to. If you are publishing the game, that comes with the territory. You can do what you want with it. Because you are publishing the game. It's under your brand. It's under your
but
IP.
When you publish under Sony, doesn't Sony own your IP anyway? That used to be one of the things that
exactly
part of the contract.
Exactly. But now,
by the way, everyone's like, why does Fantasy VII not come to Microsoft yet? I wouldn't be surprised if one of the reasons why they're able to get the deal for the remake was because of the fact that Sony published 7. And there's probably some sort of legacy contracts that is involved in somewhere involved in there. Why they got even a small exclusivity deal.
But yeah, so when it comes to the published games, the publisher gets to dictate where it goes. Like, do you remember that Lego game for the Nintendo Wii? I think it was called Detective something, Police DC. It was the only Lego game that was exclusive to the Nintendo platform for a number of years before it was released on PlayStation and Xbox, after the exclusivity period ended. But Nintendo was publishing it at the time alongside Lego, and Nintendo made damn sure that that was only available on Nintendo. So if Nintendo can do it, are you telling me Sony can't? With their own IP, not even a Lego IP, but their own Horizon IP. I mean, there's a lot of copium there if you believe that they can't. It's their IP, and they're publishing it. They can do what the hell they want. They chose to go multi-platform with their own AAA IP. So, give it time. Give it time.
I tell you what, it isn't going to work long term. It isn't.
What isn't?
This strategy of astroturfing for Xbox, it will come to a financial decline. It's hurting the very places that continue to do this. They're going to lose readership. They're going to lose patronage. They're going to lose viewership. People are tired of the lies. They want authenticity. They don't want your astroturfing.
Yeah. So they go up to you, Reforge. Yeah, that's great. Sorry.
He's just explaining himself in a nutshell. It's just quite funny. He's literally describing himself, like word for word. This must be like some kind of proper 4D chess shit going on here.
You had a chance. You had a chance to do something special with your reach, your name, and your notoriety. Breaking.
He's still talking about
from
himself,
IGN.
right?
I think so.
You had a chance to do something special, and instead, you have chosen to continue to false frame things and say things that are not true. If you get corrected in the public for saying something false, it's not fanboyism, it's facts. And they don't care about your feelings or what team you...
Does anyone actually know what he said?
I'm confused about all of this.
So Destin said something, and then people came at him like crazy, and then he posted this. No, I'm going to guess it has to be the whole PlayStation games will go day and date at some point. And, like I said, the way I've been... I showed you the projection. I mean, even the 75 million consoles.
I even agreed with you.
On Tuesday, I proved it was rubbish.
I even broke it down to the exact numbers that people seem to have something came up with. But if you go check out your previous stream, I told you exact numbers that they did.
Apparently, I'm supposed to be getting messages, but I'm not getting any.
I just saw a DM pop up at the bottom.
Yeah, but it's not. I'm looking at it in another tab. But like even the 75 million consoles shipped, right?
Yeah.
That's false. I mean that's real, but
it's real. Shipped.
Shipped is real, but
60 million sold.
It's probably about 6. I'd say closer to 65. I'd say closer to 65.
No, I don't think it's 65. I think it's closer to 60.
I'd say 60 to 65. It'll be somewhere in between there.
Yeah,
but there's probably about 10 million, between 10 to 12 million in warehouses. But you're seeing a bunch of...
Those ones aren't just... But the thing is, though, it's also a good idea to have excess shipped, because that way, if you do have consoles that are broken, you've got replacement models to replace.
Don't get me wrong. Having them in the wild is good, because the supply is there. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Shipping 75 million is still good, but
I just want people to clarify the fact that ship means that even it's also good in warehouses, because if someone's breaks, you've got when you order to fix, you get a replacement and so forth.
Oh, is that what he said? Consoles aren't growing? But I proved on Tuesday that console market isn't growing.
I even showed you the hourglass It's the hourglass. It's basically the hourglass. Right?
Yeah. Does anyone in this chat that's a true pony actually believe that the console market is still growing with Xbox and PlayStation? I mean, I proved it last week that the numbers haven't been going up. They have been stagnant for PlayStation 2, 3, 4, and now 5. They've hovered around 180 million all the time.
Well, they're mad about being wrong because they're wrong.
That's
anyway,
what they're mad about?
I have to go soon.
Yeah, that's cool, dude.
Cheer for. They're just facts.
Do you want to, if you need to go now, that's fine. If you want to plug yourself
Yeah.
before you go.
Do you mind?
Yeah,
Sorry.
go for it.
Yeah, because I've got about 10 minutes until the next podcast. So I won't
Yeah.
go forever.
By all means.
So I'm Chille, one half of Mugo Radio. I stream on Twitch, but also I make YouTube videos on Holified Saying over on YouTube. So you think if you like Dragon Ball or Bleach content, Bleach will be coming out next month. So I'll be covering more Bleach stuff then. I'm 193 videos. So I've just hit 55,000 views, and we're at 137 subscribers. So yeah, we actually had to bump our subscribers today. It went up crazy. So thank you everyone for the support over on YouTube.
What number are you at now?
So thank you. 137.
Ooh, that's nice. You're getting there.
Only 13 away from 150. So yeah, I do have a YouTube Devastator. Chille eats not never again, Woodpit. I do indeed have a YouTube Devastator.
Steve,
Anyway,
could you plug it in?
Thank you as always. Thank you as always, Chaos, for having me. Remember, if you're watching this stream right now, please hit the like button. If you watch this after the stream, please leave a comment down below. Thank you everyone for watching everything. I hope you all have a lovely day. And again, thank you to Chaos for having me on and
Always.
for putting up with me. See you next week, hopefully.
Thank you, Steve.
And thank you, Steve.
But yeah, so before I continue this, Bags, you were saying 180 million. The PS2 sold 160 million, as we now know. Xbox OG sold 20 million. That's 180. The 360 and the PS5 sold roughly between 80 to 85 million each. I think which basically gets you around to 180 million again. The PS4 sold 115 million. The Xbox One sold 60 million. That's 175 million. Can you see how it's basically through the 3 generations there, it hasn't changed? And now with PlayStation 5 and the series consoles, the series are sitting on roughly about 30 million sold. PlayStation is sitting roughly at 60 million sold. That's 90 million. They need to, between the two of them, they need to sell basically 130 million, 120 million to get to that 200 million mark. Well, 110 million, sorry. Maths fail. In the next 3 years. I don't see that happening. If anything, it's shrinking. Now, the shrink can be attributed to the start of the generation, with COVID, the chip shortages, but the reality is, they're nowhere near that 180 million at this point. Oh, did I say 18 by accident? Right. But yeah, so it's not growing. So what Destin said is true. I mean, the numbers are there for people to think. The reason why people don't count Nintendo is because for some reason people want to have like 9 Switches. But in fairness, they've survived 2 generations of consoles. So they're an enigma. They just do their own thing and whatever. They're not even in the 9th generation of... they're not even regarded as HD gaming, as you saw in the course. Neither Sony counts them, neither does Microsoft count them.
That's the way that it is. I've had it. I'm done. I'm done playing nice with people who don't deserve it. I'm not going to make it personal. I'm not going to hurl.
It's not even 200 million, Steve. I just proved it's flatlined at 180 million for the PS2, 3, and 4, and the 5 right now is at 90 million. The PS5 in the series generation is at 90 million. They need to sell basically another 90 million now between the two of them to break even and keep up that flat line. And if they said 100 million, then they're going to start to exceed that number. And 110 million will at least get them finally to that 200 million that you're saying and actually see growth. But we're not seeing growth right now. What we're seeing, at least due to, the shortages with Seavid and whatnot, which may have had a big impact on it, which it probably did, to be fair, we're seeing a decline. We're seeing a massive decline in hardware. Because I just don't see them selling 100 million consoles in the next few years. I don't see it. Maybe you guys do, but I don't. That's a lot of consoles.
Insults, I'm just going to correct you when you're wrong. That's it. It's that simple. And
so, Destin is actually correct.
We don't need to keep the dadgum kid gloves on anymore, right? You're all big boys. You're out here in the public. You're publicly viewed persons. Say stuff that's false, and you're gonna get correct.
I'm not listening to him anymore because he's chatting shit. Okay, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is, and Reforge is incorrect. He is 100% incorrect. Destin is correct. The numbers themselves do not lie. The numbers are there for everyone to read. I know people don't like to read numbers. They don't like to understand the numbers. They want to just live in this mystical unicorn of a world where those numbers actually don't mean anything and what Nibs tells them is the gospel truth, but that is not reality. And if Nibs was actually telling you the truth, he would tell you the same thing as well. It's not growing. It's basically, as Chille said, an hourglass effect. It's basically you're either eating into the Xbox share or you're eating into Sony's share, but you're not actually growing. How much money, Steve? Your PS4 is counted in the MAU. As of April 2024, when Sony counted 97 million MAUs, PS4 was within that calculation. If you go look up their April 24 PDFs or whatever it was, their slides that they released in their earnings call, you will see in there that they have a slide where they had 49 million PS5s and 49 million MAUs for the PS4. Or is it 47 million on the PS4? But they do count it. Your PS4 is counted. Now with the PS5, you've got a greater increase in the MAUs because of PC. All right, let's see what he has to say. This is the one that devastates her. This is trash, Marvel Rivals.
Dreamcast guy here, and today we're going to talk about Marvel Rivals, but this isn't specifically about just that game. It's about how the industry is definitely in the midst of a crash because they just fired the director and the entire team that's been working on this game.
A team of apparently 6 people. I mean, the way he says the entire... So this is what I'm talking about, right? We're literally 16 seconds in and no one has done their due diligence. It's why I didn't cover this story. Because once I found out the particulars of the story, I found out the actual information that pertained to the story, it wasn't worth reporting on. It's sad that people lost their jobs, right? But if you work in the games industry and understand how it works, or any tech industry, not just the games, support studios are only there to support. And once that support isn't needed, they're surplus a requirement, they go. These people understood that. But the director just wanted to make a bit of noise. That's it. And anyway, I thought people didn't care about people losing jobs. Right? People were all for, what was it? Dragon Age the Veilguard staff losing their jobs. They were happy they were losing their jobs. Multiple other games, people were happy the studios are closing and losing their jobs. Now they care? What? the development team for Flint Rock was completely gutted. No one cared. They cheered it. But now people care that people have lost their jobs? Seems a little weird. And this is why I call it virtue signaling. You either care that people lose their jobs all the time, or you're full of shit.
And that probably doesn't make sense because Marvel Rivals is one of the biggest games on the planet. I mean, literally, it is the premier hero shooter. It instantly butchered Overwatch. It's got hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, massive popularity, and somehow that wasn't enough. But let's talk about the firings, the confusion, and why. I mean, the entire internet is literally saying, this sucks. Is the industry going to survive? Let's get into it. Hi.
Okay, one more thing I'm going to do before. All right, Chris, you're not understanding English. I don't know if you are English. I don't know if you're an American, but I'm hoping the English language is something you do understand and do comprehend, right? And if you don't, I do apologize. They did not sell 75 million consoles. They shipped 75 million consoles to businesses, warehouses, and those are not sold. They've sold around 60, maybe 62 million, because if they had sold 75 million, Sony would have said, we have sold 65 million. Do you know why they would have said that? Because they can check internally how many they've sold. Every PS5 that you put on that gets activated is on their system. They have that data. They are purposefully keeping it away from you, purposefully not telling you and giving you information that makes it look better, not telling you the information you actually need. Shipped is not sold. So your data there is incorrect. But I do hope you understand that now.
I hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So, this is real. I feel like it's crazy that I have to keep saying this, but it is real. This is it. This is the director of the game, and he said, well, my stellar, talented team that just delivered an incredibly successful...
Gen X, I think they've got about 60 million. I think that's fair. They have done well this year. All things considered, in selling the console. And, during Christmas, during the 3 months that they had, they sold 9.5 million consoles. Those are actually sold. About 6 million of those consoles, or just below 6 million, were net losses for Sony because it was people upgrading from the PS4 or the PS5 to the PS5 Pro respectively. Those were people that basically upscaled or bought a replacement console. They had like 3.5 million new customers from that 9.5 million, or maybe 3.8 million, which is still decent in that period. But even those people, Sony lost a lot of money during those as well, unless people bought games with it, because they slashed the price during that period to £350. They're not building them at that price, so that's a net loss. But there's still 3.8 million new customers, but it's not it's not the 9.5 million customers that they're telling you. So the details matter in the numbers. Sony put out all these weird, all these wonderful numbers, and then put like percentages and stuff. But what they're not giving you is the actual true story. They're not giving you the real details. And if you're looking on social media and you look at all these people writing essays on charts and information, they're not actually telling you the information, the truth that you need to hear. They're feeding you the bullshit that you need to hear, so you can be on their, you can be, oh yeah, this is great and everything. But it's not the case.
Successful new franchise in Marvel Rivals for NetEase has just been laid off. I like the fact that you can make a job title. He made his job titles, I help create billion-dollar franchises. This is it. Now, technically, this is not the main team. This is the people where there were the main team, and then there was the main sort of help team that still made levels, did bug testing, helped with characters and stuff. This is a huge...
You didn't offer me a price, Steve.
Itself. They are instrumental. I do think measurably Marvel Rivals is going to be in a worse state. I mean, firing everybody that works in America on this incredibly important billion-dollar franchise, and everybody's like, bro, you can have the most successful game and still get canned. I do not know anybody that would want to enter AAA game development because the scene is so scary. There is zero job security.
I mean, that is true. The zero job security is pretty nasty, especially in QA. So something that we didn't have in the UK, but it came towards the end of when I left the games industry because the job security was just really bad back then, was something called a 0-hour contract. I'm sure some of you may have heard of this, but what that technically means is your employer can basically cut your hours from 40 hours a week to 0 and give you literally 1 day's notice. But you're still employed. So you can't go to the job center and get job seekers allowance because you are still technically employed. You are employed for 0 hours and getting paid nothing. And you can't get any help from social benefits or anything because you're still employed. The job security is nuts. Also, most places give you 3-month contracts because, at least in the UK, because they don't. If it's like Sega, for example, someone in Japan looks at a list of names once a year and basically says, right, this name looks kind of cool. I've never met them, but they can have a permanent contract. For the number of years that I was there, I think only 4 people got permanent contracts. The amount of people we saw recycled or had to leave, people who couldn't have their visas renewed because they couldn't get a contract, the contracts were renewed every 3 monthly and the state wouldn't accept it. Like, the job security in the games industry for the longest time has been crap. It's just all come out into the open after the bubble of COVID because at that time, the consumption of media was so high that they were employing anyone and everyone to make these games because people were consuming them like crazy. And then suddenly, once people were allowed to go out and touch grass and live the life of being whatever they wanted to be and identify as whatever they wanted to, be it a lamppost, a trash bin, or a car, or as I've seen in some cases in America, they wanted to identify as a deer, and when they got shot, the judge found in favor of the actual shooter because the guy identified as a deer. Thumbs up to that judge. People stopped playing games, and that excess in development, now that there's not enough, the games coming out don't meet the demand. They've got too many. They've got excess supply, and so people get laid off, and adjustments are being made. That's just what's been happening over the last few years.
I mean, it's great. People talk about the fact that, okay, so by every metric available.
That is real, by the way, Bags. Look it up. He shot him in the arse, and the judge found in favor of the shooter because they were out in the wilderness hunting deer. That is actually real.
Your project can be a colossal success, and you're not really safe from being randomly fired. I mean, literally, it doesn't make sense. Literally, you make a good game, you get fired. You make a bad game, you get fired. You make a game that flops, you get fired. You make a game that's literally the biggest thing on the planet, you get fired.
I mean, Insomniac had firings, right? They made Spider-Man selling, 12, 13 million, I've heard now? And they had layoffs as well. That's pretty much their best studio, in my opinion, Insomniac Games. And even they had layoffs.
Now, a lot of people are like, this literally, I appreciate the fact that everybody is literally just being like,
oh my God. Look, you said you didn't want to see him. I wasn't showing you him. And yet you are still... By the way, could you at least hear what he's saying? Could you at least hear what he was saying? I blame you guys for distracting me. That is totally it.
Oh, this is insane. Like, right now, the Marvel Rivals Twitter account is like, hey, we've got some fun stuff coming up. And literally everyone's like, hey, man, Whoever's running this account, send this to your manager. What are you doing? Marvel Rivals director shares that he and his entire team were laid off.
The entire
Another
team of
member
6
has now
people.
confirmed the layoff. This is truly one of the most sickening layoffs I can remember. Pure greed when they're already making money hand over fist. Now, to be clear, this is the U.S.-based support team that.
Okay, I've got a question for you guys in the. I've got a question for you guys in the chat. If you guys owned a business, right? This is a serious question. I want you to answer honestly, not with your fanboy hats on. If you had a business, and you in that business, whether it's a fast food restaurant, it's a car mechanic, it's a shop that sells stuff, you had 10 people sitting there on the side doing absolutely nothing, 40 hours a week. They weren't needed. They're just sitting there. Would you still employ them just because your company is profitable, or would you lay them off? That is my question. Now I want you to be honest. Would you still employ those people, or would you let them go? They're doing absolutely nothing. They're coming in every day and doing nothing, and then walking away getting a week, every week getting a week's salary. Child labor. What do you mean child labor? They be out the door faster than lightning. The queen winning a race. 10 extra T-boys sounds good to me. Nah, they're not doing anything like that, mate. They're just sitting there doing nothing. Lay them off. Exactly, but the reality is you would lay them off. That is what's happened here. All of these people that are jumping onto this have jumped onto this without any context. And again, this is why I didn't cover it, because to me, this isn't news. This is called business. And it sucks. It's not nice. And I've never, endorsed or I'm in favor of people getting laid off. But it is what it is. It's the way business works.
Help develop and ship the game. There's still a development team in China, so the game isn't dying. Now, I have heard some people who actually track NetEase very, very closely said that apparently they pay you like nothing there. Apparently the devs there are, underpaid is an understatement, like $50 a day. Something ridiculously tiny. And so apparently the current theory is that, okay, well, the American developers, we got to pay, $50,000, $60,000 a year. We have to pay them a reasonable, comparable wage to other American programmers. And yes, they're making our game make billions and billions of dollars, but we could fire everybody, hire a bunch of
6 people, by the way. 6
people here in China, and maybe get a 10% bump to profits. And it sucks because these people are important. I like the fact that it was an enormous pleasure to work with my American coworkers who joined me in this sad culling. I couldn't dodge that big boot, I guess, no matter how big of a success at the gig. This is a level designer. These are not just bug testers, which is still an important job. This isn't just random QA, which is still an important job. It is literally the people that are making the maps, that are making this game as good and fun and balanced as it is. Sorry, boys. $1 billion ain't enough to keep your jobs.
No, it's not, because they're not doing anything and they're no longer needed. The internal studio can run the stuff themselves. I don't understand why these people don't understand that. I don't get it. Yeah, Devastator, this is the thing. Once people understand what it actually is, it's just how support studios work. They come in, they do a job, and they leave. That's it.
I want to keep going here, though. There seems to be absolutely no job stability in the gaming industry. It genuinely does not matter if you deliver an extremely successful game, you're still on the line.
100%. 100%. Because, look at it like this. The games industry goes through ups and downs, right? And QA is the worst, by the way. Their retention rate is by far the worst, which is why they're paid the lowest, because they just pretty much have them changing so rapidly. The turnover for QA is insane. But you'll have a period where you're working towards to get that game out. And you'll have the main developers either in Japan and whatnot. They'll be developing it in-house, and then they'll send it to their internal studio for QA, for example. And when it came to us, we would have like a lot of work up until like October, where all the big games would be coming out, or we'd have them signed off for release. And then in October, you'd have what we call the culling. And we lost like 70% of QA. They would basically keep a skeleton crew in place to make sure that if anything came in as a hot fix or anything like that, they could react to it. But they would gut, like, we used to have like a graveyard shift. The graveyard shift was the first to go. There was like, 200, 300 people there? First to go, instantly. They went like overnight. And then you'd have like the day shift and the afternoon shift, and they would gut 50% from each of those as well. At minimum. Because at that point, there was no projects in. And then once the projects start ramping up again around February, March, then they start making calls and asking if you've found another job and if you'd be willing to come back again. It's just how the games industry works. It's no different for developers either. If you have a lull period, you go. That's it. If they can if someone can do that job you're doing and another one, and they can crunch it up and get it done, and they're not complaining, they're going to get rid of people. And this is why I tell people, even where I'm working, don't do more than your hours, because if you do, you're only making it worse for everyone else and yourself, because they'll just look at it and say, right, we're now expecting you to do this level of work all the time because you've done it once and twice and 3 times, which is why I don't do that.
I like the fact that everybody really is just highlighting the absurdity of this. Like the fact that in the past, we'd always talk about vote with your wallet, buy a game if you want a sequel.
It's the nature of the
Do you
beast,
like
yeah.
Microtransactions? Do you hate microtransactions? Don't buy them. Send that signal to the developers
That doesn't
you're
work.
tired of constant
It doesn't work.
crappy
People are
battle
always going to
passes and
buy.
stuff, right? There's always been that thought that if I support something, it will pay off. I like that somebody mentioned Tango Gameworks here in the comments. Okay, so if I buy the Evil Within 1 and the Evil Within 2, like I actually did a bunch of videos about Evil Within. I love that so much. I have bought every single Tango game. I've loved every single Tango game, and they still got shut down. And the thing is, what part of profitability is ever enough? I think what kind of drives me nuts about this is that I do feel like the industry is in this spot where everybody just wants an infinite upward line. If your first game sells 10 million copies, which is a huge amount of sales, the next game has to sell 11 million or they shut you down. I feel like I keep just sitting here and randomly thinking about the Dead Space remake, because in my mind, that was perfect. It was the exact original game, but bigger, better, more beautiful, more side quests, more gore, more carnage. It was just straight up the best horror game ever set in space, but even better. But oops, sorry, it didn't sell 70 million copies, so we're just gonna fire everybody and kill Dead Space. And
didn't Dead Space massively flop in sales? I remember Dead Space just didn't do well at all. The remake. Devastator, I did look into it. I did. They're literally just support. This is why I don't know how many copies it sold. Someone look it up. I don't think it did well at all. All of these people that are making these videos, I mean, it's great for views, right? It's clearly for the views. But it's full of so much lies. It's so disingenuous. It's just, I don't know. It's such BS. Because they don't believe it for a second themselves. Silent Hill was a success, yeah.
All these companies now think and talk like this. It's crappy executives at the very, very top saying, okay, how many people can we fire to get even the tiniest bit of line go up? As long as the profitability, as long as the success, as long as the metrics go up, even for a tiny bump, it's worth it. I've seen a lot of people now talking about the risk of short-term games. That's a technical term for it, which is that a lot of these companies now are thinking, okay, if we screw everybody over, if we jack up the price of Game Pass, if we skyrocket the cost of PlayStation.
Yeah, but in how long? What did it sell in the first few days? In the first week, Braggs? That's the number you need to look at. This is why it depends. Over time, it can sell whatever it wants. But these decisions to close studios or shut everything down is usually done within the first month of release. And the first week of a game's sale is very important. Depending on the actual day of launch, which is why I say a week, usually the first 3 days dictate if the game is going to sell well or not. Games that come out, the first 3 days are pretty much the days that people buy them. The first day being the most, the second day being the least. I mean, if you look at Final Fantasy 16, it sold 3 million copies in its first week, and then I think it sold less than 10%, or is it like 5% in its second week? It dropped down by like 95% in sales because the sales happen in the first week. Anyone that wants to buy it or is interested in buying it or wants to play it is going to buy it in that 1 week. And that 1 week is the metric. If it didn't sell in that 1 week, it's not going to sell. Days Gone is a prime example. That first week, it did not sell. It had so many problems and it bombed hard. It sold 8 million overall over time, sure. But that first week, it did not sell. And that's why the sequel to it got rejected. It's that first week that you need to get the numbers for, not the overall. Silent Hill sold 2 million in its first week. That's good.
PlayStation Plus and then put a bunch of stuff locked behind the PlayStation Plus subscription. Yes, this will get that tiniest bump in profit.
So he's wrong here.
Long term, people are going to be pissed. Less people are going to want to interact with your ecosystem. More people are going to quit. A lot of games, Blizzard had this problem a couple of years back where they started making all their games incredibly grindy because they realized for a short term it meant more people were subscribing to try and keep up with their characters and be ready for the next raid.
I mean, that happens.
But then everybody quit because it's like, all right, while I'm waiting for that next big content patch, I'm just doing 80 hours of busy work. I am frustrated because literally nothing in this industry is safe anymore. Good games, bad games, great games, garbage games. It's all ready to go down the chute.
And this is why I really wanted Astro Bot to get to that 4 or 5 million. So heads could turn and people can see right, this is a platformer. Clearly there's an interest or a demand for these games here. At 1.5 million, it's not going to get the demand. And you're already seeing people even the creator of Banjo and Kazooie saying there's no demand. And he's, recently said the same thing again, that if they made it, it wouldn't sell. It doesn't matter how many Game of the Year awards you win. You can win 1 billion Game of the Year awards, but if you don't get the high numbers and it doesn't cover your cost, it's a failure. And that's why I wanted Astro to sell more. Because I wanted more games of that kind to appear. Like a next Crash, like a next Spyro, like a next Banjo-Kazooie. I wanted these games. I know the next Spyro is being made by, I think it's Moon Studios or something. I can't remember their names. But it'll be interesting to see how many copies that sells.
Sometimes you do everything right and you still lose. I have this tattoo on my arm here. I'm not sure if it'll show up here. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. Can you read that? It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. This is a quote from Star Trek, and it's a quote I think about a lot because I do think that a lot of times you can only focus on your work. It's hard not to think about the results and the.
I've watched all of Star Trek. Is that referencing the Kobayashi Maru, where there is no win? It's coming out with the least amount of damage.
reaction, but you just got to focus on your work. But I do feel like this creeping cloud of constant cancellations is going to start affecting the entire industry of, sorry boys, good game, bad game, whatever you're making, already be applying somewhere else. Because even if this game is the biggest, hottest topic, you're probably going to be fired here in the next 6 months. And to me, it's sickening, it's boring, and honestly, it just sucks. But that's just been some off-the-cuff thoughts. What do you guys think about it? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you...
Yeah, yeah. They jumped the gun with this one. They jumped the gun with this story quite badly. And it shows. But, you know, a game's success is, you know, unless it's like gloriously successful, like Baldur's Gate 3, Wukong, and it's hitting those crazy numbers, nothing is ever secure. And even then, right? If they've down tools and they're not really working on anything, why are they going to keep people there? You know, a game being ultra successful doesn't mean anything. This is why, like, honestly, the only jobs that really have some form of security is live service games, because you're constantly churning out content for that game. You're constantly in a development cycle. When you end on one project, you'd start on the next one, because content has to continue. For all the hatred that people have for live service games, those realistically, I mean, they've got the highest degree of failing, but if they succeed, they're one of the most secure jobs you can have. Loads of people gave him money for his teeth. I've heard that saying, Brick. No, Picard says it to Data when Data loses the board game episode where Riker takes over a ship and fights the Enterprise as a war game. Ah, I remember now. Yes, I remember. Unless you're an EN voice actor. Yeah, but they chose to do it to themselves, right? I mean, the AI stuff that Hoyoverse done was nasty. That was really nasty. So I get the strike. Hoyo shouldn't have done that. That was pretty dirty. I still don't like the fact that there's no voices in those games though. But yeah, interesting video. Just a shame it's full of misinformation. Lots of misinformation. Way too much misinformation for my liking. Don't worry, Steve. You pretty much made it to the end. But folks, that is gonna be it for me for today. I don't have anything else to talk about. I'm gonna push out another video, I'm hoping, tonight, if I've got time. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. Members will get it early. Those of you that are not members, it'll be live in about 10 hours. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. But otherwise, I will catch you all next week. I might be streaming some Avowed this Saturday Saturday night if I've got some time, or maybe a bit on Sunday during the day. That'll be over at Twitch. So if you're interested in checking that out, feel free to come over. Otherwise, I'll see you all in the next video or the next stream. Peace out, folks, and I'll see you next time. I'm gonna go play some Avowed now. Well, after the video. Right. Adios. Have a good night, and thanks so much for hanging out tonight, peeps. I appreciate it. Remain legend.